All right, a Thursday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels. Heading up until 2 o'clock. We've got you for the next 4 hours. A lot of stuff to get into and talk about today. We'll talk some Major League Baseball. Obviously, a World Series champion crowned last night, Game 5. The Dodgers come all the way back from down 5-0 to win 7-6 with the sacrifice fly, the game-winning RBI going to Mookie Betts. A little karma repaid to the Yankees and the fan. And after further thought, it actually would have been better if those two fans were in attendance last night. Like, they should have escorted them back in just for the 9th inning, just to then watch the Dodgers celebrate and have to be there and
make them watch
and partake in that. You know, they should have done that. That would have been they have them on standby to then escort them in, and then no, you must stand here. You must stand here and watch this celebration, the whole thing. You're going to stand and watch this thing like Stephon Diggs or Bobby Witt. You're going to watch the entire thing happen, whether you like it or not. This is your punishment, along with, not showing up to Yankee Stadium all of next year as well. 913-912-4810, the text line. 913-912-4810, text line to be a part of the show, part of the conversation. I do want to go through the text today to see if there's any takeaway from the Royals' perspective in watching the World Series. What happened, how it happened. I know the obvious is, well, spend $300 million. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I get it. But anything particular or specific from what happened that the Royals could latch on? It's a copycat league, right? I mean, people watched in 14 and 15 what the Royals did in the bullpen and then said, that. we should do that. What if we made it a 6-inning game?
Hear me out.
Yeah?
Sign Shohei Ohtani.
I mean, or
trade for Mookie Betts.
Juan Soto.
Bring in Teoscar Hernandez.
Sign Freddie Freeman, World Series MVP.
Freddie Freeman.
World Series MVP Freddie Freeman.
I got nervous. I thought that might be Chad trying to scare me because it's Halloween.
Oh,
so.
He likes to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Chad likes to do that.
I'm already nervous.
He's a big fan of that. My first year working here full time, I think in like 2007, the first Halloween, I walked into somebody's office. They were like, "Hey, we need to talk to you in this office."
Yeah.
All right. I walked in. And they're like, well, can you close the door? And I turned around to close the door, and Chad was standing there in the full Scream outfit with one of those fake knives about to sound like, that's how you fire people? I thought when you said you were going to be terminated, I didn't realize you were going to actually terminate me.
Yeah, they're taking care of you.
Yeah, but that was the welcoming, I guess. It was only like a few months later, but that was the welcoming. Yes, that happens around here all the time. And it's Halloween. Chad adores Halloween.
So I got terrified because I saw the Drake, and I thought maybe that's going to be
Chad's going to be right behind you.
By the way, don't scare me because I will be liable to say a bad word on air.
That's fine. Dieter was on today, so you're good.
That means the dump button's used up. that means there's no dump button usage.
There was actually smoke coming from the dump button from 8 to 9 today. His Yankees lost last night, and he let his emotions get the best of him for the hour. Or at least the first 20 minutes or so of that particular hour. But 913-912-4810, maybe there isn't. Maybe there's nothing to take away to connect with the Royals from last night. I mean, they made the postseason. I think they were right there with the Yankees. I don't think we talked during the postseason that I felt whatever happened in the American League, the Dodgers were going to win it. And then they fell behind 2-1 to the Padres. And I thought, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe they're not going to win it. It certainly seemed like they were the best team all year, but injuries happen, and they've battled with some pitchers, and they've had some guys go down, and they've had to figure it out, and they've made some trades, and Jack Flaherty isn't the guy that maybe they thought they were getting when they traded for him at the trade deadline, and his velocity is down. They were down 2-1. Just as the Royals were in 2015, and they returned home and won both those games, and then they win the championship series, and they win in 5 on the opposing team's field. And I love David Lesky's little nugget last night. The last 2 teams to win a World Series in New York are the Royals and Dodgers.
If you have blue, if blue is your main color, you got a good chance.
Yeah, last 2 teams to win a World Series.
Rangers might be next.
Oh yeah,
Twins.
If you're winning a World Series in New
Blues.
York, you just aren't the team that lives in New York. You're the Royals or the Dodgers. It's a great nugget by David Lesky.
Didn't
Love that
feel like an inverted 2015 World Series, like as far as conferences go? Like
even
the colors, the Dodgers, they look like the Royals.
Well, there was so much besides the $300 million payroll, like being down 2-1 in the divisional round, being the best team it felt like all year, being down 2-1. and then having to being down 2-1, and it felt like, this other team is the better team. Like they're playing the better baseball. They've got the quote momentum in this series, and then the Dodgers took it right back and had some comeback wins and won that series, and then won the championship series, and then won in 5, stealing game 1 at home with a huge home run.
Yep.
The Royals in 15 stealing game 1 at home with a huge home run. One was a walk-off, one was to tie it. I get it.
Sure.
But both of them happened in extra innings. Both the games were won in extra innings. The Royals, Gordon was in the 9th, but both games at home, won in extra innings.
Dominant start from a guy they picked up. I mean, not midseason, but he was a signing.
Game 5 felt
2.
like but Game 5 felt like the team that ended up winning it was battling uphill the whole time. And then a crazy inning happens for the Royals and the mad dash with Hosmer. This was the 5th inning last night with the Dodgers over the Yankees. Like, it felt like that whole
That was
night,
almost a Houston game. That
it was
almost felt like
yeah.
a Houston one right
You're
there.
not wrong. Yeah, that's but the dark night was just amazing in Game 5 in New York. And the Royals just felt like they were swimming upstream the whole game, like trying to climb and then you'd slide back down. And they sent the Dark Knight back out there, and it didn't work out for him. And Hosmer made one of the best decisions in Royals history by screaming home on the Salvi, ground out. And
Lucas Duda, forever Royal.
Lucas Duda with a great throw. It was a fantastic, one of the best throws in Royals history.
Forever Royal.
Lucas Duda and Jose Batista, 2 of the best throws in Royals history. And so there were a lot of similarities from that standpoint. Like, it reminded me a little bit of that outside of the $300 million payroll.
Well, I think there's 2 ways of looking at this. If you want to compare them to the Dodgers, I think you're far off, which is funny to say. I think that the Royals are close to the Yankees. Like I think there's a lot of similarities of roster construction, even monetarily, right? Take that out for 1 second here, because they're not going to compete.
Yeah.
But as far as the building blocks of, you have your core 4. Like, you have, like, the Royals had their 4 guys, their 3 guys this year. The Yankees had their 3 or 4 guys this year. The rest of the lineup was a little bit of a
it was a mismatch. It was sort of a
hodgepodge,
kind of pieced together. Verdugo and Wells has been pretty good this year coming on.
If you're going to compare them to the Dodgers, though, I think you're off base, because the Dodgers had not only the money, they had all those injuries and still found a way. Their development, they're just lush. They're plush with all these phenomenal pitchers. They just keep finding guys.
And they've got at least one. Will Smith is homegrown.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else is homegrown.
Max Muncy, maybe.
Was
Kiki Hernandez may have been there originally, but Chris Taylor. I mean, but like they're glue guys. They're gel guys that have been there a long time. They're almost a souped up Royals team where they have their splits. They have their platoon guys. Like, Kiki Hernandez faces lefties almost exclusively. Max Muncy's almost only facing righties. The difference is, for the Royals, that's MJ Melendez and Hunter Renfroe. That's not Kiki Hernandez and Chris Taylor's their super sub instead of having
Garrett Hampson.
Like, that's the difference. They're just elevated versions of the. So I don't want to compare the Royals to the Dodgers, because I don't think they're close. I do think the Royals are fairly close, though, to the Yankees, which means if you think they're close to the AL champions, well, that's not bad. That is a positive here.
Yeah, then you're close to winning a World Series. If
Correct.
You get there. I mean, I don't know what they would have done against the Guardians. I would have loved to see that. Obviously, would have loved to see them take on the Guardians. You know what? Walker Buehler's homegrown too, and which is a great story too, because Walker Buehler was drafted in the 1st round. I think he was late 1st round. I think that battery that ended the game were both 1st-round picks. Late 1st-round picks by the Dodgers, because they typically have late picks. So I think Walker Buehler was a late 1st-round pick, and Will Smith was a late 1st-round pick. So those guys out on the mound, that's, they went out and paid and traded and all of that stuff. But those guys on the mound that finished the game, the battery, the pitch to the strikeout to the catcher, those guys were drafted and developed and stayed there in L.A. But we'll talk about some of the comparisons that I saw, but anybody that has young kids, or if you're a coach of junior high or high school or college, last night was such a great example to use. In football, they call it teach tape, to use for coaching youth or middle school, travel ball, high school, whatever it is. Because the team that won last night was the team that threw the ball and caught the ball the best.
Yeah.
You got to score, certainly. But catching and like we talk about all the time with our kids, right? They're 8, 9 years old. We're like, hey, especially your age, kids, the team that's going to throw it and catch it the best in this game will win. You field it, throw it, catch it, you will win the game, okay? And last night, the team that fielded, threw it, and caught it the best won the game. Now, there were some situational hits. There were big hits. Freddie Freeman with the 2-out hit.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
I mean, the
Hernandez.
whole fifth inning.
Right. But Aaron Judge makes a catch. It's, 1 out and a man at first. Volpe makes a decent throw. It's, it's a guy out at third. Or turns and throws the second. There's a guy out. Garrett Cole covers first. I mean, PFP, he's been doing that his whole life. Garrett Cole's entire life has been PFP. And they don't do that simple thing, and they don't get out of the inning, and that's a run. That was 5-1. That was only 5-1.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next 2 batters come through. We get 2 runs and 2 runs, and the game is all of a sudden tied. Like, the team that just played solid and didn't give another team 6 outs in an inning was the team that ended up winning last night. It's a great example. You can do so many things right. You can do so many things in a game. But if you just have a little bit of a breakdown of not being able to catch it, throw it, field it, you can lose the World Series. You can give it away and lose a game in a World Series.
It's the highest level of the highest level.
Yes, which also goes to show for younger kids, hey, if you make a mistake, it happens. These guys are paid millions and millions of dollars, and they make mistakes. Next play, man. You got to go to the next play. You can't get down on yourself.
I can tell you what Garrett Cole who Garrett Cole thinks was at fault because of the way the inning went the rest of the way. If Anthony Rizzo was the person at fault, I feel like Garrett Cole's more confident, gets out of that a lot quicker. Maybe 2 runs come across, but not 5.
But he thought it was my fault. I'm done.
I gotta
what am I
make up.
doing? Yeah,
I gotta get good pitches.
I didn't.
Over.
I didn't cut the sound of Aaron Boone after the game. I cut a lot of sound from last night, but I didn't cut the clip from Aaron Boone talking about that play and said, Cole was exhausted. He had been out there for that long, and he didn't pick up the spin the way that Anthony Rizzo picked up the spin. He didn't expect Rizzo to sit back on the ball because there was so much English on the ball that Rizzo couldn't charge it. Right? He had to wait back because if you come and charge it and that thing spins a little bit more and you bobble it, so he had to wait back. He also had his head down, focusing on the spin of the baseball, so he couldn't see that Garrett Cole had stopped. Like, that's all Garrett Cole.
There's 2 people on the baseball field that know the spin of a ball hit off the bat before anyone else on the field, and it's the pitcher and maybe pitcher and catcher and batter, and that's the 3 that know
the batter definitely can
else.
feel it
because the pitcher knows what he threw.
Yeah.
And he knows the swing that was put on it.
Well, and he should have known that that thing was a tough play over at first. Yeah.
Dylan and I talked,
and it was Aaron. It was a manager sticking up for his player.
I agree.
But before the show, Dylan and I talked about it. We don't always like doing this, but we thought it was a litmus test of do you know ball or not? Like, do you know baseball? Like. But seriously, people who are blaming Anthony Rizzo,
oh, no, that ain't
I'm sitting here going, you don't understand. That is the pitcher every single time. I was laughing, going, I wasn't much of a pitcher. I was more of a shortstop, second baseman, but in beer league softball, I pitch.
Yeah,
which is
of course, absolutely. Everybody can.
No, but I'm trying to make this the easiest, simplistic conversion here possible. Didn't really pitch much. Even I know in softball, I cover first base. I'm not a professional pitcher. That's all I do in the World Series. Like Garrett Cole. I know people are like, you got to charge Rizzo. Rizzo is not the one at fault. We're talking about the spin. We're talking about all of these things. Every single time. We were talking about how the White Sox, how many times this year did the White Sox pitchers on the exact same play, the worst team in baseball, the pitcher covers every single time.
Yeah. Right, it's PFP.
I was saying, like, we could go and find 10 of the similar plays for the worst team in baseball history in games that didn't matter as much as that game did, and they're covering first base. And probably, you know what, they're meeting the guy at the base. And the guy, I got it, but they're still there because just in case.
So much stuff that goes on in the heads of pitchers, hitters in that moment, in that situation, with everything. At that point, it really wasn't collapsing around you yet. I mean, there were a couple of misplays. There was the
Aaron Judge was
Aaron Judge started the whole thing. I mean, that's what started the whole thing was the Aaron Judge misplay in center field. He took his eye off the ball. For some reason, he was looking at the runner at first I'm not sure why he was, unless he was peeking, thinking I can throw this guy out at getting untagging back. But it's Kiki Hernandez. What's he doing peeking over to first?
But he got a home run, though. And
he did.
He got a home run, Jason. All of his playoff woes are forgiven.
Hey, look, those of us that had Aaron Rodgers 2+ RBIs, I appreciate it. Or Aaron Judge.
If you had Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is not going to get 2 or more RBIs.
Pretty good
today.
Odds, I would
He's also
imagine.
not going to get 2 or more touchdowns today either against the Texans.
I don't think so, but there were good odds in that one. I at least.
Oh, did you? You rode with Rodgers?
No, I threw a sprinkle because it was really good odds.
Oh yeah, Aaron Judge.
No, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, tonight.
Tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, good luck
odds.
with that. Good luck with that, man. I do want to hear some sound, and then we'll get into the next segment about this connection and takeaway if there is one.
One last thing about because to your point, like Aaron Judge made the error, and basically the bases were loaded because of other players. The inning continued because of Garrett Cole, and that's what weighed on him and made him think, I got to make these perfect 2-strike pitches and end up making bad 2-strike pitches that end up in the outfield.
Freeman was a 2-strike pitch, right?
Yep.
I know Teoscar Hernandez was a 1-2 pitch.
Both of them were 1-2 counts.
1-2 counts,
They were favorable pitcher counts. I don't know if they were 1-2.
Yeah, but 1-2 count. And yes, you're like, well, do you throw a waste pitch? I mean, we talk about like, with 1-2, how do you give them something to hit? Well, you also you can't just throw, balls up there, because now you've been out there working for a while.
And he was dicing people up when it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
And then he all of a sudden couldn't after he made the blunder.
Yeah, and give credit to Freddie Freeman fighting that off, because that thing jammed him and he was strong enough, put enough of the bat on the ball to get that thing into center field. And Teoscar Hernandez to go, down and away and get that one and take it to left center field. I mean, he put barrel on ball, and he hasn't had the best of the series so far. Let's hear clip number 2. This is Derek Jeter and A-Rod. These are Yankees players on the set after the game was over, talking about that 5th inning and what they saw. And A-Rod knows about meltdowns on a big stage, too. So, I mean, he's seen those things. It was absolutely a meltdown. Let's hear from Freddie Freeman. He becomes the first player born in the last 50 years.
A lifetime.
That's right.
Yeah.
Last 50 years, first player born in the last 50 years to have a regular season and World Series MVP. Every other player that has done that has been a Hall of Famer except Pete Rose. Freddie Freeman's already a Hall of Famer. If Freddie Freeman retires today, he's got an MVP, he's got a World Series MVP, he's got 3 Silver Sluggers, he's got Gold Gloves, he's got...
Who was the MVP of the 2020 Dodgers one? It wasn't Mookie Betts? Or did Mookie come the year after?
Mookie,
Corey Seager?
I mean, it might have been, yeah.
I'm trying to... sorry, go
No,
ahead.
dude, so much of 2020 and the... that World Series
Corey
because
Seager.
it's Corey Seager.
Thank you.
Well done, football guy over there. He knows ball. But Freddie Freeman, just unbelievable. Let's hear him. This is right after the game was over, before he was announced as World Series MVP. This is clip number 4, and he's on field with Buster Olney right after the game was over.
Oh, my word. This is what you set out to do every spring training in February. This is the ultimate goal, and for us to accomplish it with all the adversity we faced throughout the course of the year, injury after injury, to be down 2-1 in the NLDS and come back in that series, be down 5-0 today, that's the epitome of this team. They grind, we grind, and we showed it all day today what this team is about.
Walk us through that inning when you guys were down 5-0.
Yeah, we were just saying, get one run. If we can get one run, we can do something, and obviously we capitalized on some mistakes in that inning. That was huge, and 2 out hits. I was able to get one, and then Teo, big one right there to tie the game. we got the game tied, and I can't say enough about the at-bats we put together at the end of the game. Gavin and Mookie, sack flies, absolutely incredible.
You're following Doc Roberts making decisions. When did you start to think about Walker Buehler coming in this game?
You want TMI? I had to go pee in like the 5th inning, and I saw Walker coming down with his glove, and he had the look in his eye. That's when I knew. But I hope everyone gives Doc his flowers. That's an inning out of 3rd out of Jack, and he covered that game. What an amazing job. Just an incredible job all the way around today.
I love the story of Freddie Freeman. And I love the fact in the 5th inning, Freddie Freeman, this is how we found out Walker Buehler might pitch.
You want TMI? I had to go pee in like the 5th inning.
Which is ironic because the team peeing was the Yankees in the 5th inning, right down their leg. The whole time, just right down their leg, they were peeing. Freddie Freeman was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He was the 7th guy up that inning. Hey, Coach, can I go pee real quick? You get that all the time.
Do I have time?
Do I have time to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, a couple pitches.
Hold on, Johnny. Let's see. You are. All right. Well, you're after Jackson, right? Okay. Yeah, you can go. Be quick, though. Be quick. Hurry up. Go pee. So Freddie Freeman went to go pee, and he saw. Got to go pee. He saw Walker Buehler and thought, well, maybe he's going to pitch today on 1-day rest. And that's what happened.
As impressive as Walker Buehler doing that was, it's not quite Madison Bumgarner, but it was still very, very impressive. I thought Blake Trinan was very, very impressive. 2 1/3 innings through 42 pitches.
I think that was his season high.
Maybe 42. I don't know if that's his career high. I mean, you could tell that he was almost laboring out there, and he had a couple pitches not go his way. And you saw Dave Roberts go out, and Blake Trinan basically was like, I got this.
Yeah.
I'll take care of this.
Let's hear from that. This is clip number 8. Dave Roberts on the stage was asked about that decision of Blake Trinan keeping him in the game.
In the 8th, and you talk to Blake Trinan and you leave him in the game. Tell us about that conversation and why you left him in.
Yeah, you know what? I just wanted to look in Blake's eyes. Blake's our guy. Blake's been our guy. I just wanted to slow the game down a little bit. I looked in his eyes. I said, how you feeling? How much more you got? He said, I want it. I trusted him.
It's one of those things where baseball is such a results-oriented game and analysis of right or wrong decision.
Yeah.
Because if Blake Trinan gets hit around there, you keep him in, and he doesn't get out of the inning, and it's like, dude, you walked out there. If you're just going to let the player manage the game, then what are you doing? You're just going to ask, hey, do you want to hit today? Oh, hey, do you want to keep pitching? Hey, would you like to start today? Hey, do you want to pinch hit for this guy? Hey, how you feeling? You okay? You want to play? All right, great. We'll just go with what other player says. Like, if he goes out there and Blake Trinan gets hit around, now depending on if they win game 6 or 7, those decisions. We talked about yesterday or Tuesday with Todd Lebo and the decision that Grady Little made with Pedro Martinez in the ALCS and leaving him in there. Mm-hmm. And then he, got hit around because the analytics said when he got to a certain number of pitches, he's toast. You've got to get him out of the game. And Grady Little went out there, talked to him and said, all right, I trust him. I'm going to leave him in the game. So sometimes there's analytics to go along with it. Sometimes there's gut instinct, and sometimes there's a belief as a manager to go, all right, I know this guy. He's our guy. He's, we've been in positions before with him. He's dug down before. This is going to be a little bit tougher. But okay. And part of it also is we did a bullpen game yesterday.
I was going to say,
we've already had a bullpen with Jack Flaherty, pitching an inning. So I trust him, but I'm also in a position where I kind of need to trust him too. And he came through. So it's like, you credit the player as well. Dave Roberts made the decision. It worked out. And credit the player for digging down and getting out of that inning and handing it over eventually to Walker Buehler.
Yeah, and then just Blake Trinan, what he's done this year. He pitched in 50 games. He had 46 and 2/3 inning. This was He gave it all he had. That's why I was so impressed with Blake Trinan, because that's not something he's done traditionally this year. The year after, because he missed all of last year with Tommy John, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken. So
can I play one more? I know we got a break. Let's play one more. We'll talk with Ken Swanson coming up at 11 o'clock. Chiefs press conferences today around 11:45. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, hopefully Joshua Uche at the podium. That'd be great. But in talking about that and sort of like Blake Trinan, here's what he's done all year. You're sort of maxing out what he may be in this series, because you get 1 day off today, and then you would have 6 and 7 tomorrow and Saturday. Here's Dave Roberts' clip number 10. This is about the Walker Buehler strategy. All right, so how this whole thing came about, of pitching Walker Buehler.
When you were game planning, did Walker come up at any point, or did that happen within the game?
That happened within the game. 7th inning, he just said that he's going to be available, and I didn't see that even coming into play. But obviously, as the game sort of went out, had it played on, we had to keep the game close, and our guys were fighting, and so I just felt that at that point in time, I was going to be all in.
Seems somewhat self-explanatory, but what about him makes you confident in handing him the ball in a spot like that when he's
I just think that the experience, the pedigree, we were all in at that point in time, and he wanted the baseball, and I just felt that he wasn't going to run from the moment, and I just felt he was the best option.
That last part is really fascinating to me because we were all in at that moment.
Yeah.
You know who's scheduled to start Game 7 on Saturday? Walker Buehler.
Yep.
Was scheduled to start Game 7 on Saturday. He had 1 day rest. Then you pitch him again on Wednesday. Does he then come back and start on Saturday on 2 days rest? So we're all in? Yeah, you're kind of all in. You went extremely long with one of your better bullpen guys that you would probably not be able to use them on Friday. And your Game 7 starter is now in the game pitching. It's not like Madison Bumgarner that came out in Game 7. There is no tomorrow.
Yes.
Right? That is literally the last game. If you lose that one, you then return home and Yamamoto on the mound in Game 6. Yankees have all the momentum. But also the next day, are you going to go to Walker Buehler, or are you going to do a bullpen game again when your bullpen has been destroyed the last couple of games?
It was Stones.
For real. To stay with Trinan and then to go to Walker Buehler, your Game 7 starter in Game 5. And if he were to start in Game 7, it would be 2 days rest after pitching out of the bullpen on 1 day rest. But he's brilliant in the World Series. Walker Buehler is absolutely brilliant in the World Series. It's the 4th game he's pitched in. I think he's allowed 1 run. And it's his numbers.
If you combine his World Series appearances, it's not. I mean, Bumgarner was insane. That's 1 series. I'm not saying he's close,
but this is the 4th game.
Off.
This is the 4th game that Walker Buehler has pitched in a World Series. First time out of the bullpen. The other 3 were starts. Game 3 starts, obviously. Oddly enough, all 3 of them are Game 3 starts, and he was brilliant in every single one of those games.
He has a .47 ERA in 19.
What's
innings.
his strikeout to walk?
1 earned run in 19 innings. He has 11.4. And given up, his walk is 1.4. So he has 24 strikeouts, and let me see the walks. 3 walks.
24 to 3, yeah.
And 19 innings.
In the World Series.
Yes, World Series
24 Ks, 3 walks. Now he does have a 10 strikeout, no walk game in there. But still, I mean, that's how good he's been. He's brilliant. But again, it's Madison Bumgarner was 1 series, and he was also good in others. But that 1 series where he started 2 games and then closed out Game 7.
Yep.
Walker Buehler got a win and a save. Started Game 3, got the win, and then closed out Game 5. He didn't have another start mixed in there that Bumgarner did, and it also wasn't like 5 innings of relief to do that. But we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. More Zone next. Mookie Betts yesterday, after the fan interaction, fans in the stands. By the way, have you seen the picture, the meme? I tweeted it out. I don't know who did it. I don't know who to give credit to, but it's a picture of Mookie Betts with the guys in the stands pulling the glove. Only the glove is gone, and he's holding the World Series trophy. And the guys are trying to. Was it CBS Sports that? Okay, CBS Sports had the picture of him reaching up and the World Series trophy being there. I retweeted it, didn't know who did it, but now that I think about it, on the wall it says CBS Sports. But in my mind, I thought
that was advertising.
I just thought it was advertising. Yeah, on Fox.
I did too at first. I was like,
that wouldn't make sense if they'd be CBS Sports on.
Pay a lot of money for that spot.
No doubt, no doubt. Strauss pays a lot of money for those helmets. I mean,
oh my goodness.
A lot of money for
if
those
that
helmets.
didn't tell you they were hemorrhaging money, I don't know what will.
Oh, dude, the Fox lost a decent amount. Not necessarily lost. I think you break even at 5 games. Anything after 5 games with what you pay for the rights and what you sell the advertising for, anything more than 5 games is just pure profit. So I think it was like if it had gone 7, it would have been another like 60, 70 million in profit. But 5, that's when people were like, all right, it's 5-0, fixes in. This has to go at least 6 games. We know it's Major League Baseball or whatever. Yeah, you need, I think, 5 games you break even. 4 games you lose. 5 games you break even. 6 games you profit. 7 games you take a huge vacation and buy another yacht.
So you're saying Major League Baseball got the good side of that deal then?
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, yeah. So, all right, let's hear from. So we heard that clip from Mookie Betts about it's over. It's not a big deal. You know, it happens. We lost the game. That's all I'm focusing on. He was on set after the game was over, after all the celebration, on set with David Ortiz and some of the other former players. But here he is. This is his interaction with Papi and Mookie Betts about the fans in the stands that happened a couple nights ago.
The fans, yes. Look, try to rub out of your glove. Yeah. What's going on? What went through your head, man?
That was wild, man. That was really wild. I've never experienced anything like that. I was telling my wife, that was like the second time in my life I've ever wanted to fight someone. But I get it, man. I get it. You know, I don't know if he was trying to get the ball. I don't know what he was really trying to do. But he had to do what he had to do, you know, and it is what it is.
You're too nice.
You're too nice, yeah. So the other night, I guess it was 2 nights ago. So yesterday we played that. He's like, oh, no big deal. I moved on. I didn't even give it any thought. You know, it's blah, blah, blah. And now he told his wife, it's the second time I've ever wanted to fight somebody. The follow-up is, when was the first, Mookie? I really want to know the first one. Because if that's only the second time in his life he's wanted to fight somebody, Mookie is one, and we already know, like most people will tell you, Mookie is one of the best people in baseball, which is why I love what's happening with Freddie Freeman. Because Freddie Freeman is one of the nicest and best dudes in baseball, and especially with what he went through this year.
Oh, yeah.
Not even the ankle injury. Who cares about that? Who cares about the ankle injury when your 3-year-old, you know, out of nowhere, you know, has Guillain-Barré syndrome and wakes up in the morning perfectly fine 3-year-old and by that night can't walk and is on a ventilator. And that's why he was away from the team for a couple of weeks. Freddie Freeman was. Like, you know, and then you come back. Then you've got other injuries that happen to the team. Mookie Betts getting injured. He hurts his ankle. And then he goes and has a performance like that in the postseason, in the World Series. Let's play this clip from Tim Kirkjian. It's clip number 7 on Freddie Freeman and what we witnessed in these 5 games from one of the most incredibly deserving people in baseball, that sometimes good things happen to good people, too. Here's Tim Kirkjian on what we all witnessed with Freddie Freeman.
Well, this is obviously one of the greatest World Series performances ever, if not the greatest World Series performance ever. He drove in 12 runs. That ties a World Series record for RBIs in one World Series. He's the only player ever to hit a home run in each of the first 4 games of the World Series. And then going back to his last appearance, he's the only player ever to hit a home run in 6 straight World Series games. Let's not forget, he hit in Game 1 the greatest grand slam in the history of the sport, the only grand slam, walk-off grand slam in the history of the World Series, and that grand slam changed this entire series. It was maybe the greatest performance in a World Series ever by one player. That's what Freddie Freeman did.
If I want a baseball historian to break down something and give me perspective on a performance, Tim Kirkjian's one of the first ones I'll go to. He is brilliant when it comes to the history. And when he says it's one of, if not the greatest World Series performances in the history of the game, I will defer to Tim Kirkchin and appreciate what we watched with Freddie Freeman.
We saw, I want to look back after that. You won't know for sure, but how many Hall of Famers did we just see in that?
That's a great question.
Freddie Freeman. I looked it up, Hall of Famer. Mookie Betts, easy Hall of Famer. Shohei Ohtani, already.
Are we counting people that didn't play? Because Kershaw, people on the
Hall
roster.
of Famer.
Sato and Judge will be Hall of Famers.
Yamamoto, we don't know.
Yeah, Yamamoto, we don't know. I like that. That was pretty good. You're a poet and didn't know it this whole time. And you know what? We'll end the segment with this. I was checking in every once in a while. Barstool Sports has their watch party with their Yankees people or whatever. So I clicked it only when it was bad things happening to the Yankees, which is great because Schadenfreude. I'm good with that. And I clicked on it when it showed the Freddie Freeman single that scored 2 runs to make it 5-3. And they're and Mike Francesa was hanging out with them, and he turned around and he goes, I want to get the quote right because I tweeted about it. The actual quote that Mike Francesa used, because I want to get it right because it has to do with the Royals. And Mike Francesa said, he turned around and looked at the other guys in the room with him, and he goes about Freddie Freeman. He goes, he's the best I've seen in these spots since George Brett. Thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
A guy who's watched plenty of Yankees games and Yankees postseason games and guys that are doing that against the Yankees. And he says about Freddie Freeman, he's the best I've seen in these spots since George Brett. It's pretty awesome. We may like or not like Mike Francesa, but at least he got that right.
He got something right.
It's like
finally.
PFF. It's just a data point.
Finally.
We know he doesn't like Stan Lee. We don't know if he doesn't like us. But.
More so next. What are you dressed as?
I'm dressed as a guy.
Vice
gonna
president
go,
of all things sports at a radio station?
I'm dressed as a guy going to go cover the Chiefs.
Oh, look at that. You
in
know
about
what?
10 minutes.
You're pulling it off. I think you.
Hello, Gov.
I buy it.
I do have my Peaky Blinders hat in the car because it's cold now, and I will have that on as I walk to the practice
Do you want my
facility.
full-length coat
I don't need
to
all
take
that.
with your Peaky Blinders hat? That'd be fun.
I don't want to get that dirty.
Tuesday, isn't it?
In it?
In it?
It's
In it?
Tuesday.
It's Thursday.
Well, after
So,
that, let's meet at the Garrison.
we could go to the Garrison.
By the way,
Get out me swamp.
we're dressed as Peaky Blinders.
If you're watching online, you can see that.
Yeah, go to Twitter, watch online. You can see that we're dressed as Peaky Blinders. That's the reference that Todd
Yeah.
was making with the Peaky Blinders hat that he has.
But
I
the old
am here
newsboy hat.
bearing treats for you from our friends at Mr. Davis.
Oh, heck
so,
yeah.
the world's
thank
most
you.
comfortable underwear, socks, and
Thank you.
undershirts.
I've been waiting
So
for Todd to give me some underwear.
Shall we open this on
you can
air?
open them right now if you
Okay.
want. They've got you covered with some stuff.
Should I try them on?
Well, probably not.
I'll drop
since
it.
we are streaming.
I will
don't
drop.
know.
Well, I'll stream on stream.
I know you'll stream on stream. But check them out online, MrDavis.com. It's Mr. Davis, MrDavis.com. Really are comfortable.
dude.
I should have. This is a very well done. I should have probably like a pocket knife.
You should
or
I
something.
have. You
Maybe
should
you-
just use your hat, dummy.
Or maybe just
I
work
should
out.
have the
use my
razor
hat.
blade in your hat.
Well, I want to keep it.
You should try
keep it
working
toy-
out.
like a toyga. Because
should try working
I want
out.
to keep it tight so that way I don't spill everywhere. I can put it back in.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
So you got
Oh,
some socks,
baby.
some underwear.
Heck yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, and it's a large.
Some
That's my
shirts.
size.
T-shirts, mediums.
I was told they
Oh,
asked
underwear, I'm
for
extra large.
sizes.
Dang it.
Oh yeah, gray
I
moss.
was told they asked
Ooh.
about size.
Do you know
I don't
green's
know.
my favorite color?
Is it?
Green is your favorite color?
Yeah.
Because it's
nice
money.
moss. Yeah, come
Oh,
on.
yeah,
Money.
we'll look at them.
It's
It's funny.
money.
People were commenting online and said, I see that Dylan and Jason dressed up for Halloween. Sterling, I'm assuming this is just a Thursday
This
for
is
him.
Pretty much, yeah.
All it was Jason bought me a hat.
That's
I
exactly
owned
right.
everything else.
You already
The
had
only
it all.
Yeah.
Let me see that hat.
I told him I
Is
would.
it going to fit my head?
Yeah, that's a medium large. It's not a small medium.
Because I used to have to wear large, extra larges, but now my head shrunk a little. It's a
Uh-oh.
little tight.
You're gonna need large, extra
Well,
large.
I have a
Try
small
Dylan.
dome.
Dylan, you got a large, extra large over there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan's dome
yeah.
is pretty sizable. He's
Yeah.
he's Barry Bonds over
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna say it is Barry Bonds.
That was
It's
a little
not even-
snug on me.
After you get past 7 3/4. it's just Barry Bonds.
My
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh, nice.
But so there you go, MrDavis.com.
like these.
Check them out. And,
I have a
dude.
seven
It's
a
and
little
an
trick or
eighth
treat for
because-
you.
These are
Thank
nice.
you,
I like
man.
long socks. You know
A
that.
little trick or treat.
gonna
You like
try
trick or
these.
treat? We're here to
Oh,
trick and
dude,
treat.
this is great. You're the man.
Little socks. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Dude,
But it is crazy. They're right here in town, and it's mostly everything to do is internet orders. But they're like a mile from us.
Heck yeah, dude.
Anyway,
Oh, dude, I like these drawers.
In it.
it's bamboo, brother.
Draws.
I'm telling you right now, you will be amazed at how comfortable those drawers are.
And they're sage. Do you know sage is also one of my favorite colors?
Is it?
Yeah.
You love all the colors.
I mean,
There you go.
What?
whose favorite colors are green and sage?
Sterling.
An adult? I mean, look,
Who
what-
runs around with a vest on all the time?
the tailor said it was tan and taupe.
Yeah.
I'm very
what-
excited about
I
the
don't
color combination.
I don't understand this. Like, what's your favorite color? Like blue?
It is blue, actually. Yes, but I don't even know.
Gosh, of course.
Is that
it'll be-
azure?
I don't even. I
Grow
don't even know
up,
what.
dude.
I don't even know what color sage is.
Read a book.
Is
well,
that where they tell you the colors?
Then that would
Sage
be a
is the
picture
color-
book.
Sage is the color of an interior of a car somewhere because they always have fun names for those too.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
yes.
the car colors.
I also love
and the
burnt
underwear
orange.
colors.
Sorry,
no,
I'm a
no,
Wow, that's
no,
gross.
No,
I don't
no,
like burnt orange.
Texas
No.
or who you a
No.
fan of?
Why?
Texas
No.
there?
Oh, no, not that burnt orange.
That's
I
what
like
burnt
a little-
orange
no,
is?
No, that's just.
That's what theirs is called.
I want mine a little more burnt. Like I want it more
Rusty?
like. Yeah, more rusty.
You want more?
have-
you
I
want
have
more
orange
Orlando
on today.
Scandrick orange, just
I
a
have-
little more burnt.
I actually have orange on today because I don't have orange clothes because of Texas and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But this is black and orange, but it's a bad, it's like Halloweeny, right?
it's a bad. Yeah, it works.
At least it's not Oklahoma State's uniforms this weekend.
No.
Those
Sorry,
are
Mick.
scary.
This is
pretty bad.
Valencia FC in Spain. Got this shirt in Spain.
Nice.
See?
Hey,
Is that where the oranges are from? Valencia oranges?
Yeah.
What about Danny? Is he from there? Danny
He might have been.
Wasn't
I
it
don't know.
Danny Valencia? Wasn't that his
It's
name?
a Agua
Third
de.
baseman?
You go over to Valencia, you get some Agua de Valencia. It's not water. There's more than just orange juice. It's good. It's good.
Todd, thank you, sir. This is
All
awesome.
right, we're
Thanks,
off to,
Mr. Davis.
Mr.
right.
Davis. Heck
Absolutely.
yeah, man. All right. You think we'll hear from Joshua Uche today?
I don't know. We'll see. We've got Patrick and Andy because it's
Patrick
actually
and-
Wednesday.
It is a Wednesday.
It's not
on a
Thursday. It's
Thursday.
Wednesday. Whatever.
It's confusing.
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
Isn't it? Chiefs coming up later on this hour. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and we'll see who else is at the podium today. Let's do this as we get ready to talk with Kent Swanson, some NFL football, KC Sports Network, the KC Laboratory Podcast. It is Halloween. Let's give away a 4-pack to the Edge of Hell, celebrating 50 years of fantastical fright, the Edge of Hell, the Beast, and macabre cinema haunted attractions in the historic West Bottoms. Go to kcbeast.com or edgeofhell.com for tickets. They are on sale now. We're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets to caller number 8, 913-3810810, caller number 8, a 4-pack of tickets to the Edge of Hell, 913-3810810, 4-pack heading your way, caller number 8. Kent Swanson joining us here in the zone on this Thursday. Kent, welcome into the show. How are you, sir?
Jason, have you been to the barbecue spot that's in the Beast?
I
by
have
any
not.
chance, Chef Jay?
I have not. Is it good?
Strong recommend. Oh, strong recommend, buddy.
Okay.
Give it a go.
Is it like dinner in a theater for you? Like you go there, eat, and then you go
No.
into the Edge of Hell?
No, I mean I'm sure you probably could, but I've never done it. I've actually never done one of those haunted houses before. I don't know if that's my vibe. I think I'd be one of those guys that accidentally punches somebody. So I'm, for the safety of everyone.
I do wonder how often those people that are there, that are the fright crew, how often they may get attacked or punched or something along those lines, because I'm with you. I'm so jumpy. I'm not a fan of like scary movies or scary things. Very risk averse in life, just in general. I've been to a couple, and that's only when peer pressured is like a group of like, no, this is where we're going this weekend. Like, oh, okay, well, I guess I have to because there's like 6 of us and we're all, triple dating and stuff. I guess I've got to be the guy that just goes along with the crowd at chow time. It's the only couple times I've been there, but yeah, not necessarily my scene, my vibe. I know it is for a lot of people. Stephen St. John's down there a lot, loves being down there too. So, I do wonder how often there may be some incidental elbows and fists flying and pushes and shoves and things like that with getting scared. I would probably be.
Yeah, I would. I know a lot of people love it, man. That's my. I think I'd.
Yeah.
I might hurt somebody. I would be careful there.
Kent Swanson is our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. All right, let's talk about the transaction for the Kansas City Chiefs that came down the pike earlier this week. On a Monday, we find out that 8 days before the trade deadline, the Chiefs are wheeling and dealing a little bit more, and they go and trade for Joshua Uche from the New England Patriots, a situational pass rush specialist. What's your reaction and takeaway? You wrote about it at KCSN as well. What's your reaction and takeaway from the newest Kansas City Chief, Joshua Uche?
Yeah, so, the Chiefs have had a prototype defensive end under Steve Spagnuolo basically for the majority of his time as defensive coordinator. He likes a 4-down look. He likes bigger defensive ends that can play through a tackle, that can stop the run, that can win with power. And you've seen the Chiefs be a little bit more amenable to the idea of a speed rusher like Joshua Uche. So you've seen B.J. Thompson they drafted. There's some reports that the Chiefs might have been interested in Will McDonald, who doesn't necessarily fit their prototypical, type. And so I think the Chiefs have been looking to find a speed rusher like this over the last couple of years. You can even argue Felix Anudike-Uzomah was someone they were hoping could rush a little bit more up the arc. But I think this changes the layers of their pass rush in a very positive way, right? You've got Chris Jones and Trishawn Wharton doing really good things along the interior and pushing the pocket. And you've got George Karlaftis doing a lot of good stuff, cleaning those things up when that quick interior pressure happens. But now you've got someone that's running out the back of the pocket with Uche that can, I think, help clean some things up as well. So, they've done a fantastic job kind of building this pass rush. I think this is a really positive addition. I think this is something that they didn't have, and I think it's something that they've wanted the last couple of years.
It's interesting. That was going to be my next question as you went there with it's something that they wanted the last couple of years, because I do wonder, you mentioned the prototypes of defensive ends that Steve Spagnuolo likes, and those are interchangeable guys. Those are guys that you can slide down inside, play 3 downs, more Mike Dana than D Ford almost. But he'd like that combo of the guy that can do both. is it just been that, these guys weren't available or available at wherever they were drafting, or free agent signing didn't make sense because this is a guy that they haven't typically had? So why do you think this maybe fits this go around as opposed to others? But, it kind of goes with what you said, that they have been looking for this. So I guess my question is, they've been looking for this. They just haven't found it, I guess, and now they do. And while Spags has a type, amenable to other sorts of types of defensive ends.
Yeah, I'm of the belief that if Will McDonald had fallen to 32 that year, that or 31, I guess, because I think there was a first round pick surrendered, if I remember correctly. I'm just of the belief that the Chiefs, if Will McDonald had fallen down there, the Chiefs would have taken him.
Okay.
Because I do think that this is like something that, the way the National Football League is changing, you can get away with one guy on your roster like that. You can still do everything that you're trying to do with your defensive line room. You can still be excellent against the run, and then you can unleash a lighter pass rusher on later downs, especially with Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, think about how great of work this team has been doing in early downs and the early down run success. You think about how, behind the sticks, this defense is putting people in these 3rd and 7 situations. It gives you more leeway and more runway to be able to unleash a lighter rusher like this. So I think, just the way the National Football League has changed so much, and, I think, Spags might have been a little bit more willing to include and integrate somebody like this into his rush plan. It's definitely something that they haven't had a lot, and, it just adds something that they don't have and they haven't had historically. I think B.J. Thompson was an attempt to find that.
Good point. Yeah.
In the later rounds. I really do believe that's part of the reason that it is the reason they drafted B.J. Thompson, is because they wanted to try to find somebody that could do something like this. And right now they're just going to the well of a veteran to try to see if they can get a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. The B.J. Thompson one hadn't even. It's funny because hadn't even thought about that, and it was such a big story of the off season, and with him still battling back, that it is probably somebody that they were looking for, and now they get him for. I mean, darn near free. I mean, they're not paying much in terms of the salary cap, and it's a 6th rounder in 2026. And if he goes somewhere and signs a multi-year deal, then the formula could bring back a 7th rounder for the Chiefs. So, you'd be giving up a 6th, getting back a 7th, 2 drafts from now to be able to get Joshua Uche. Do you think they were or still are? But do you think they were in the market for a cornerback or still are in the market for a cornerback, and maybe the cost acquisition made more sense with Uche than a cornerback that might have been available that they were looking at or trying to acquire? Do you think they were, and do you think they maybe still are looking at cornerback spot to upgrade there?
Yeah, so I think they are still probably evaluating the market, right? And I think it's good business anyway to be doing that. I just don't know how much urgency they actually have to address the cornerback position. And obviously they've lost a key player in Jalen Watson. I think, the Chiefs seemed very content to try to let this young group of players kind of figure things out and let them kind of stack themselves. And Watson ascended and was playing incredible football. He's playing the best football of his career to this point. So, that was a big loss. I don't know how urgent they are, though. I think, I think they very clearly like Najee Johnson. Joshua Williams has played a ton of snaps for this team, and a ton of meaningful snaps for this team.
Yeah.
I could see them trying to make a move, but I just don't know if it's like a super urgent move for them to try to address the cornerback position, even though personally I think they should.
I'm trying to look up right now because I heard this morning on a New Day a name that was thrown out there, and I don't know what the cap situation is for him. So let me look it up real quick. So Kendall Fuller was a name. He's got a base salary of $1.2 million. And Adam Kaplan said that if the Dolphins lose this weekend to the Bills, then Kendall Fuller would probably be on the move. And he said that's a name to keep an eye on for Chiefs fans, that if the Chiefs can move some money around and create some space, they'd owe him about $750 for the rest of the year. And a guy who's familiar, it's been a number of years, but familiar with Spags' defense as he played with the Chiefs in 2019. So it'd be a little bit of a homecoming there. But if the Dolphins were to lose to the Bills, then the Dolphins would be looking at moving on for some pieces. And Kendall Fuller is a guy that Adam Kaplan said would be somebody that the Dolphins would be shopping and for Chiefs fans to keep an eye on. It's a complete and total hypothetical and throwing something out there. But if they're looking at the cornerback market, what do you think of if they were to get a little bit more of the band back together with Kendall Fuller?
Hey, that's the MO of this team. It feels like they're just always trying to get the band back together. Just different areas, just randomly showing up. Kareem Hunt, back in the mix here. This is what they do. Juju coming back. I think Kendall Fuller, since he left, he's played a lot of different spots in the secondary for teams. Like he's played some safety, he's played, in the slot, he's played some outside corner. So this is. He's filled in a lot of different areas. So if you want to talk about somebody that could potentially, be a nice little Swiss Army knife for, this team to continue to add reliable veteran depth, I think that makes sense. It feels weird, but Kendall Fuller's still under the age of 30. That doesn't
seems
feel
so much older.
That should be. I know.
How's he younger than DeAndre Hopkins? I don't know. It feel like they've been in the league the same amount of years.
He's significantly younger than DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's almost the same. He's near the same age as Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But no, I think easy transition back into the Chiefs defense makes sense. Outside inside versatility. As much as this team is moving pieces and parts around. And dropping Drew Tranquill into coverage. This is another guy that gives you another layer to be able to throw some things out there, and it's a veteran that should be able to step in quickly if they were to go grab him.
Ken Swanson's our guest, KC Laboratory Podcast, KC Sports Network. It was little sprinkles in watching DeAndre Hopkins in the game against the Raiders over the weekend, but any takeaway, anything to glean or learn from what we saw, and the fact that he played over 30% of the snaps in the game was really a surprise to me. I would have guessed somewhere around 20 to 25%, but he was out there more than I thought he would be. But, a little bit here, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 30 yards receiving, whatever it might have been, 14 and 16, I think were the numbers. But what did you see from DeAndre Hopkins, and what maybe can you learn from what he did out there on the field?
I thought it was a fantastic start for DeAndre Hopkins. I thought, that was just a great kind of first introduction. And it's not just the plays that he made. It's him showing tape of him being open in multiple different situations. I think Mahomes even alluded to that. When he was watching the tablet, on the sideline, he was seeing these situations where he was open. And I think one thing that, one of the themes of the season, it feels to me is, I think Patrick Mahomes is just slowly developing comfort with what he has around him, right? So, there's some sketchiness at the left tackle position at times. He was feeling that a little bit. And I think that took him some time to adapt. And I think he's starting to trust this group a little bit more, even though Wanye had a rough game this last week. But when he goes back and watches the tape, he threw that touchdown in the red zone to Travis Kelce. On a little in route, slant route, whatever you want to call it. And it's funny that, hey, look, he kind of just threw it to the guy he trusts the most, that target he trusts the most. And the reality is the Chiefs had 3 open options there. They had, they probably could have thrown the swing route to Kareem Hunt for a touchdown, but they also could have thrown a slant route to DeAndre Hopkins for a touchdown.
Yes.
And that slant route was more open than what Mahomes ultimately threw to Kelce. So I could see, a slow shift in some of these situations, right, where, Mahomes is going to trust DeAndre Hopkins as a player with a long-standing track record, elite hands. I think you're going to see some situations, the next time that play materializes, I wouldn't be stunned if DeAndre Hopkins is the one getting the ball because of how open he is, and so it's this slow shift in trust. Not that he doesn't trust DeAndre. It's just that he needs a little bit more time to see things with DeAndre. And he was put in a situation to have even a nicer game than he did. So I'm very encouraged by where it started, and I think it's just only going to get better over the next 10 weeks.
What level do you think he can elevate this team, this offense, to DeAndre Hopkins? Just his presence and the trust thing, I think, is such a huge part of it that you bring up that. A trust will be developed in where Hopkins is, where he wants the ball, and Mahomes. But I think there's already got to be a trust from Mahomes that when he throws him the ball, he's going to catch it. So that's probably there, on site as soon as he shows up. Like, all right, I throw to this guy, he's going to catch it. But what level do you think DeAndre Hopkins can elevate this team to offensively?
Yeah, I think he becomes another reliable third down player, like we've just kind of seen. Like, he's another guy that Mahomes can trust in these key situations to try and move the sticks, and that's such a crucial piece of how the Chiefs have been running their offense because, they've been so, positive. The positive yards they've gained on first and second down have been such a huge factor in how this team has been efficient. So, it's coming down to these third down situations, and having another reliable player in those third down spots can be huge, but also I think it can help elevate the game of Xavier Worthy too, right? Because the Chiefs wanted to try to funnel some stuff through Worthy in this last game. I mean, he had I think 8 targets in back-to-back games, and it's maybe not the right role for him right now. He still needs to be involved in this offense. I think they did some good stuff using him in this offense, but I'd like to see them try to get him down the field a little bit more and try to push the ball in some of those opportunities down the field for him, and let DeAndre Hopkins handle some of the situations and stuff that they've maybe asked Xavier Worthy to do. And this is a more reliable target in the middle of the field, in between the numbers. This is where DeAndre Hopkins can make an impact. And then when Juju gets back too, I think that's a really well-rounded group. You can win with that group. You can win a lot of football games. You can be kind of the 2022 version of this offense with a really efficient offense. And I think that's where this is eventually going to trend. This is going to be a 2022 level efficient offense when it's all said and done. And I actually think I like the run game this year more than I like it in 2022. So I think Hopkins really helps elevate this team. It's going to just continue to be an efficient machine and a winning football machine.
Yeah, I'm pumped from what I saw from DeAndre Hopkins because I know he's going to catch the ball, and he was so open on that touchdown to Travis Kelce that I may sprinkle a little money on DeAndre Hopkins anytime touchdown on Monday night against the Bucs because Mahomes is saying I've gone to the tablet and seen it a couple of times, and he was open. And I would like to see them take a couple of shots to Xavier Worthy in a game that we've got the matchup. I'm just going to take a chance and give Xavier Worthy an opportunity to beat this guy deep one-on-one. I would like to see that a little more often, but I also appreciated what they did with Xavier Worthy on 3rd and 2 earlier in the game. That I talked about it a couple times this week that they overloaded the right side and they left one-on-one with Xavier Worthy on the left side on 3rd and 2, and you put that defender in a bind. I mean, they played 8 yards off of Xavier Worthy on 3rd and 2, and Xavier Worthy came out almost jogged a little bit, stutter stepped, and then ran and out, and nobody was within 5 yards of him because they're like, yeah, you're not going to beat us deep because we're one-on-one. And if you want to go up and play press man on 3rd and 2, one-on-one on one side of the field, well, you'd better hope you get your hands on him and you don't miss because then it's a touchdown. And I liked that they did that because that's using his speed to your advantage without using his speed to gain 20 or 25 yards. You use a speed that they would rather say, I'm going to give you 7 yards instead of 70. And I like that they did that because I think he's also a reliable guy when the ball's thrown his way and it's not a jump ball situation. He's going to catch it.
Well, if you look at that play too, that's one of 3 straight weeks where you see a real opportunity for them to, for Xavier Worthy to score. Right, if that little whip route, so I call that a whip route, it's a little in, kind of an under slant, breaking back out. I call it a whip. That whip route that he runs on that 3rd and 2, because and it's a brilliant play call. And sometimes designs are simple where it's hey, let's put 4 into this side of the field, and we're just going to have essentially a one-on-one opportunity here. They play off coverage, he misses that, it's a touchdown. And we've seen multiple times, the last 3 weeks, there's been what-ifs with Xavier Worthy's games where it's he could have scored there, he could have scored there, and on that play, he could have scored there. And, they should continue to do stuff like this because, the opportunities and the upside of doing some of these things gives you, a player that can really – I mean, he can break this thing open, right? He can go score and he can score on a whip route, right? That's an insane – that's a great play design by them. But – they need to continue to do this. And, I'm not saying filter Worthy out because, you're right, they still need to go back to him. They still need to keep integrating him into this offense. It's just I think a little bit of the pressure gets taken off of him where this team has had so many injuries at the receiver position. He doesn't have to carry the load. He doesn't have to be an 8-target guy. Maybe it's a 6-target guy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit more defined. And I think that could be huge for him, moving forward in this offense.
Last one for you before we get a prediction on the Bucs. Andy Reid will talk today, so we may get an answer. But are they moving forward with Wanya Morris at left tackle, you think? He didn't get benched like Kingsley did. But do you think they move forward with Wanya Morris, and how much of a concern is that left tackle coming off one of his worst games that we've seen him play, and a worse game than what Kingsley had against the Bengals?
Yeah, I would agree. Like it was a real rough performance for Wanya Morris. I think they're going to continue to go back to him. I think one of the things I don't know how comfortable Mahomes was with Kingsley at the left tackle position, and even though it hasn't always been pretty with Wanya, and like last week was certainly it killed the drive in and of itself and put him in a really bad spot, but. I think, if Patrick Mahomes ultimately trusts Wanya Morris or feels more comfortable with Wanya Morris,
good point.
Even if it's not always, maybe even if you think Kingsley can play a little bit better than Wanya is at this point, I don't think you change it. Because ultimately, I think the big factor is if Mahomes feels comfortable with what he's got in front of him, then you keep rolling with that. You don't mess with that. You don't try to tweak that at all. And it really does feel like Mahomes has been more comfortable with this group up front than when he was with Kingsley. So that's, I think, the ultimate deciding factor, even if there was to be some marginal improvement at the left tackle position by switching to Kingsley.
It's a great point. Mahomes a part of the conversation, and if he trusts, Kingsley, Wanya over Kingsley, then you stay with Wanya. Just as Mahomes was a big part of Juju coming back. So Matt Nagy wanted Juju once Juju was released, which by proxy meant that Mahomes wanted Juju back. There's that trust there. All right, last one for you, Kent. Kent Swanson, KC Laboratory Podcast, KC Sports Network. Prediction time, Bucs Chiefs on Monday night. That line is sitting at 8.5. It's only moved a half point. Opened up at 9, now 8.5. But what do you think happens in the game, and if you have a score in mind?
I think this is a very similar performance to the NFC South Monday Night Football game the Chiefs have already played against the New Orleans Saints. I think it's a 27-14 type game. I think the Chiefs take care of business early. They look good. They flash the ceiling on the offensive side of the ball in the first half and maybe manage the second half. And I just don't think the Bucs generate enough offense at any point to really threaten the Chiefs after that. So I think the Chiefs, it's 17 points in the first half, maybe even 20, and then kind of ride the wave on the back end of that game. Comfortable win for the Chiefs. Continue to build on this thing, and 8-0.
All right, Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Kent, you're the man as always. Happy Halloween to you. Are you trick or treating or handing out candy?
We'll be trick-or-treating.
Good.
Looking forward to it. We have a neighborhood group. We all run out together and do that, so it's going to be a good time.
Are you family dressing up or individual?
No family dress up.
Okay.
I've been wearing the same. My brother got me a Jedi bathrobe like 4 years ago, and I just roll out in that every year, so that's what I'll be rocking.
Is it combat ready, just in case? I don't know.
Funnily enough, some kid, a teenager gave me a real lightsaber. Just handed me one when he saw me dressed as a Jedi, and I've been rocking that. I actually got into a fight with a lightsaber battle in the middle of our neighborhood 2 years ago. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Who won?
I took the L. I honored,
no.
Look, here's the deal, man. These kids out here, they are fierce.
Come up on a Sith Lord, and you don't know about it.
You don't know what that dude's been doing.
Ready.
He's training in UFC, behind the scenes, a Sith Lord UFC fighter. You don't know. He looks small, but that guy's gonna punk you.
He was dressed as Kylo, and he had the skills and acumen of a Kylo Ren. So, it was real.
Yeah, well,
that'll do it.
Yeah, good luck this year. Good luck tonight on whoever you run up against in your lightsaber fight.
Keeping my head on a swivel, man.
That is so. Now, when you do that, do you do the sound effects too while you're having the fight?
I don't even remember.
Well, yeah, you lost. Of course, you don't remember.
Honest.
Yeah, I mean,
probably.
If you're not doing it, what's the point? Sound effects is one of the best parts of it. So, Kent Swanson, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if I can break character, like we had never met each other, and we choreographed an epic fight. Some kids recorded. I really wish I could find it because that dude used the force, and I froze and dropped my weapon and died gracefully. It was a very epic moment. Probably one of the coolest Halloween moments of my life.
You have to post that. Find the video.
Story.
That is your job today. Find the video and
Please.
post that, Kent. I need to see this, all right? The world needs to see this.
We told each other same time next year, and I didn't see him last year.
Well,
so that was really disappointing.
Wow, this
so
guy won.
I'm hoping, if you're listening today, kid, if you're going to be in the Arbor Creek, if you're going to be in the Arbor Creek neighborhood this week, I'm ready to fight. So let's do this.
What you gonna do, brother?
Looks like, sounds like the kid won a big hand at the table and then left. Got up and left. I won my one fight. I'm not showing up for a rematch. No way. I didn't promise that. Kent Swanson, KC Laboratory Podcast, KC Sports Network. Go check it out. He wrote about Joshua Uche there at kcsn.substack.com. Kent, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it, sir. Enjoy the football. Have fun tonight, and we'll talk in a couple weeks, bud.
Hey, you too.
All right, there's Kent Swanson, lightsaber fighting. Swordsman, yeah. You know what? There you go. He's a lightsaber aficionado. Lightsaber
Jedi
warrior.
Knight.
Yes, that's
Jedi
right.
Knight,
that's
yeah.
right. But he's 0-1. He's 0-1.
He's not a master yet. Well, he might be
Great
now.
point.
That's why this guy's ducking him.
It's great. It's a full year. He knew that he had a full year to practice and get ready for the next matchup. All right? This guy already showed all of his tricks. He already presented everything that he had to offer. He did every trick in the book. He emptied the bag on Kent. Now Kent's ready.
Vader killed Obi-Wan, but he was ducking Luke for a while, so this might be a similar situation.
I hope Kent still has both arms and hands.
I know. I agree.
Yeah. What if that?
Although
kid...
getting a cool robot one wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess it is combat ready. That robe that he got. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Continue rolling more zone next. Come back and we'll hear from the Kansas City Chiefs. Talking today will be Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But also at the podium will be Creed Humphrey.
Yeah.
And the newest Kansas City Chief, Joshua Uche, will talk today. What do you say, huh? Maybe he'll help the Chiefs make some hay?
Down by the bay?
Still celebrating a three-peat in May?
What do you say?
Let's do that today.
Delay. What you got to say? There we go.
My bad.
He just may.
Moving stuff around.
No, you're good, man. You are fantastic. You've got tons of stuff that you're working on back there.
You
so
know what?
It's all good.
You know what I'll say, Dylan? That's A-OK. Sorry, that was too much. I'm sorry. That's on me.
Tex says, I hope you marked that lightsaber sound effect.
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
Of course. What else am I going to play when Star Wars comes up?
I'll go as Chewie next year.
No.
And then the entire show, I'll just go.
If
the entire show, that's what I'll say. The whole show, and
people
will like that more. People will like that more.
If you want to go with Star Wars, you have lost a co-host. So I'm out on Star Wars.
Dylan, Star Wars next year.
Yeah, so Star Wars next year. All right, cool.
Oh, you mean like dressing up? We've lost you dressing up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well.
Not a Star Wars guy.
We'll put some thought into it. Last year,
this was good anyway. So
I like this.
Last year we went as Breaking Bad, and this year Peaky Blinders, and we'll have to figure out what.
So
we're gonna
shows
do
I've
next
never
year.
watched. Great, I like this. This is a great trend.
Next year we'll go as a book, just for you. All right, let's take a time out.
That was good.
Let's take a time out. We'll come back. We'll hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Creed Humphrey, and Joshua Uche coming up next. from the Kansas City Chiefs: Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Creed Humphrey, and Joshua Uche. I'm glad that he clarified earlier this summer, and I'm glad that came across my timeline when the Chiefs traded for him, that he wanted to go by Joshua Uche, because I have called him Josh Uche since, learning about him in 2020 before the draft from Michigan. Josh Uche. But no, Joshua Uche. We'll hear from him today. And Creed Humphrey, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid at the podium today. When they start, we will head out there, and we'll see what Andy Reid, I'm assuming he'll be asked about Wanya Morris and Kingsley, who they're going to go with. Are they going to stay with Wanya Morris? Are they going to stay with Kingsley? Is he going to say, we're sort of, doggone it, Herbie. We're just, we'll figure that out.
Just going day by day.
Veach is handling all that.
Veach is actually handling that one. Yeah,
I don't.
I know nothing.
Yes. He'll be asked about it.
Take a guess. Who do you think? Who starts against
Wanya?
I think Wanya.
I think they'll stay with Wanya Morris.
Dylan?
Wanya or Kingsley?
Yeah, I'd say they're going to go with Wanya.
I think they'll go with Wanya.
Was
as well.
Kingsley starting and in the lead on that at the start of the season because of Wanya's off the field issue?
I mean, maybe
the weed,
but I'm
saying because Andy, the culture, and
I can't imagine that's the case because they would go with whoever the best one is because he
I
also
think so,
started game number 2 against the Bengals.
I mean,
oh yeah,
if we're being
right.
honest, I mean, has that stopped
the Chiefs?
The Chiefs before?
Yeah, not really.
Or NFL teams before. I mean, it's the NFL. It's not
also we heard, was it Romo or Collinsworth? One of the first 2 games that said that Kingsley got the start because of the injury to Wanya Morris. And we're like, that's not how we read that in training camp. Kingsley's been the starter this whole time. Like, Wanya Morris was healthy and was playing some guard and playing right tackle. It seemed like early on they wanted Kingsley to win the job. And I think they did. But I also wonder, Ken Swanson brought up a good point and said, well, who's Patrick Mahomes more comfortable with? That's who they go with. But that's a good point. Andy Heck can have his opinion. Andy Reid can have his opinion. Matt Nagy can have his opinion. But if Patrick says, I trust Wanya there. I feel more comfortable with Wanya at left tackle right now. Then you go with Wanya at left tackle. If Patrick Mahomes says, whoever you go with, coach, you go with, well, then they figure it out and who's the best one. And if it's 6 in one, a half dozen in the other, then go with Kingsley since that's the guy that should be the one of the future. But if there's any added play, so here's the way. If Kingsley's better even a little bit, then you go with Kingsley. If Kingsley's a little worse, but Patrick Mahomes trusts Wanya more, you go with Wanya. Here's Andy Reid.
Ethan Driscoll is ill. He won't practice today. And then Nazi, who's getting better with the concussion part of it, can do the walkthroughs. He did that. Is getting better. He won't practice, though. And then Juju won't practice. But making progress. Mike Dano will be out there, and he will practice. Look forward to the challenge of playing Tampa Bay. We know they're a good football team, very well coached. I mean, Todd does a heck of a job with that crew. Excuse me. Along with his coordinators, they're all top-notch guys, and both offensively, defensively, and special teams, they're doing well. So we look forward to that. Again, that challenge of prepping ourselves this week to get ready to play them. So. On Monday night, in particular, right here at GH Field at Arrowhead. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
What will we see for Josh Uche?
Yeah, so we've had the benefit of having played against him, so we know he's very aggressive. Good all around GH Field at Arrowhead. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
What will we see for Josh Uche?
Yeah, so we've had the benefit of having played against him, so we know he's a very aggressive, good pass rusher and good all-around player, but good pass rusher. So we'll work him in with the defensive line, rotation-wise, as long as he can handle everything, and I wouldn't expect that he wouldn't. So, but he'll start today working in there and getting used to what we do.
You think he'll play on Monday night?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. We'll see, though.
And is there any update on Checo, whether or not he's getting close to activating him?
He's getting there, but he's doing fantastic. I mean, really doing well. But we just, between the trainers and doctors and all of that, that's out of my hands there. So, but he's making great progress there.
Same kind of question also about Charles Minihue.
Charles doing a good job too, working his tail off. Again, the surgeons that do their jobs, they have the feel of it, and so they're constantly evaluating these guys. And when they're ready to go, they're ready to go. I mean, that's how I look at it. But he's getting closer to answer both your questions, and both of them are. So.
What was your need for a guy like Uche? Were you pretty happy with your pass rush when you guys weren't blitzing?
Yeah, no, we know how important that position is, and adding him into the mix there, I think, is something that helps us as a football team. So I'd tell you that's why we did that.
Andy, I know going into this year, you guys really wanted to exploit more of the deep passing game. You obviously don't have the personnel, but just the you have, just the fact that really hasn't been unlocked. Is that the result of that personnel? What defenses are still doing too? How do you just assess that situation?
Yeah, I mean, defenses are doing a nice job with their shell coverage, which is allowing us to, gain a lot of yards underneath. But I mean, it's just not the big chunk plays. So I'm okay with whatever they present. Defensively, we've got to use what we have there.
Andy, with an offensive coordinator like Liam Cohen, what have you kind of seen from him to play caller? Have you got to kind of talk and interact with him over the years?
No, I haven't. I don't really know him like that, but he's. I think he's doing a fantastic job. Their offense is very efficient. Their quarterback is playing great, and he lost two of his primary guys. I mean, he keeps rolling. So the guys that they have in are a little bit smaller guys, very very fast, and they've got these running backs that are top notch, and not just one of them. They've got a couple of them. So they've got a real good offense, and he uses all of them. Liam does, I'm saying.
You've gotten to be around DeAndre for a little bit longer now. He was pretty late getting here last week. What have you kind of learned about him in meetings and what you saw from him last week?
DeAndre, yeah, he's really handled things the right way. Been very diligent on studying and asking questions, and staying late, coming early, the whole deal there. So his role will continue to increase this week. I mean, we're comfortable with that, and I think he's comfortable with it.
Coach, where does it stand with the left tackle position? Do you feel comfortable with Wanye, or is there a temptation to maybe go back and give Kingsley a try?
Yeah, we'll see. Listen, we feel both of them can be starters, so we're just right now it's going to say stay Wanye, but I mean, we're lucky to have two guys that are young and growing, and that are going to be good Chiefs.
Andy, Tershawn's tackle on fourth down, how much does that reflect broader growth that you've seen in him this season?
Which one was that?
Turk, Tershawn.
Yeah, Turk. Turk's is one of those guys. Nobody practices harder. Nobody works harder than Turk. And he's not the biggest guy, but he's very physical and very strong. So, and has a great lower body for playing inside there, and utilized all of it. So, along with his quickness. But I would tell you, from where he came from to where he is today, there's been a lot of work that's gone into it by him, and persistence, and it's paying off for him.
And just the defensive line in general, obviously a lot of things had to go right on the goal line stand, but the interior line, I mean, maybe it's self-evident, but how much are they responsible for making that
Yeah, absolutely.
stand?
Yeah, no, that's a big part. It starts there. They've got to handle their business there, and then the linebackers and secondary, they all fill their gaps and have to do that job. But I mean, it was our D line. It starts with them.
Similar question to Nick, just what kind of unique challenge does Todd Bowles present you guys?
Yeah, Todd, who I've had the privilege of working with, very, very intelligent, and played in the league a long time. He's got a great feel for defensive football, and he's got a variety of things he can do with it. So he's sharp, and he gives you a lot of different looks. Go ahead. Did you? Yeah.
Is it a small thing to change your schedule from, moving the game to a Monday night? Is that a minor thing, or is that something that you normally would like to kind of have even more notice?
Yeah, we kind of work through some of those things in training camp, different scenarios, a Thursday game. And this year's a little different because we have games all over the place, but Thursday game and Monday night games, we kind of maneuver our schedule there to kind of fit this, so the guys are a bit used to it. So I would tell you, no, it's normally the back end of it that's a little bit tougher. Front end, you're okay. It's at the next game, as far as it's a shorter prep time. So you gotta look ahead, which we don't like to do. So.
Andy, we're getting close to the halfway point of the season. From your perspective, what do you respect and appreciate most to what Patrick's done so far this year?
Yeah, again, he's been playing great football. And you look back a couple years ago and teams would show you shell coverage and he had to kind of get used to that whole deal. Now he sees it, handles it, gets it to his guys, gets the ball out of his hands. He's a great player. That's what, and he manages everything there. So it's like having a coach on the field.
Sam? Andy, you knew coming into this year that the way teams would beat you guys, having won the last two. Obviously, the Raiders had a lot of intensity in that game. What have you just thought about? I know there's a long way to go, but the way that you guys have responded to that part of the challenge.
Sure. Yeah, no, I thought that was great. That was a great game, great atmosphere. Both teams came ready to, fight, and that's it led to that, which was tremendous. Great for the rivalry thing that goes on. So, and so, you know how hard the guys work at this. You know how hard the coaches work at it. You want a challenge every week, and that's what you want. I mean, let's go. Let's see what we're all about, and it won't be any different this week. This is a good football team and one of the better teams in the NFC. So it's we've got to make sure we have a great week of preparation.
Last one, Neil.
Coach, how sweet was it to get your tight end involved? You've gotten other tight ends, but to get number 87 involved in the way you're able to do that?
Yeah, the last few weeks we've been able to get him in positions there where, and really where teams weren't doubling him as much. So, some of it was a multi-formation that we were using in there that helped that. Some of it is Noah, just his production levels up, and you put both those guys in the game, and you got to be aware of them. So it's been great though to get him going. He's one of the great ones, and you might slow him down a minute, but not for very long.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, good.
All right, there's Andy Reid. You're listening to Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. His press conference brought to you by Greengrass Cattle Company, the only place to get you ready for every tailgate this football season. Order online at greengrasscattleco.com. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes. And, yeah, this past weekend, Travis Kelce, maybe he's not done. Maybe he's not lost his ability to play tight end. I don't know. Certainly didn't look like it this past weekend. And we'll see what the rest of the season continues to look like. But, yes, when the Chiefs need him, he's able to come through. And, yes, they needed him this past week, and he was able to come through. And DeAndre Hopkins, morning and night there at the facility. Here's Patrick Mahomes.
All right, guys. Go ahead and fire away.
Patrick, you played against Josh Uche last year with the Patriots.
Mhm.
What do you remember about him? What's your sort of game plan for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, a great pass rusher, someone that can really get to the QB, especially in those pass rush situations. I think he does a great job of playing hard the entire time too, which is sometimes you get guys that kind of take their chances in their spots and stuff like that. But he's a guy that gets after it every single snap he gets, and so I think it's a great addition to an already great defense. And I think his specialty will be able to really be emphasized in this defense. Yeah, I think whenever you're able to put him in there, obviously we're going to be able to hit some throws down the field, but I think hitting him kind of over that medium to long range is going to open up other guys down the field and take pressure off other guys as far as eyes and coverage. And so whenever you got, really two guys, when you talk about DeAndre and Trav, that are all kind of working in that medium type range in the football field, it opens up the deeper throws because teams have to account for that.
What's the challenge been like for you with the injuries and just different people in the room when you guys are trying to work yourself through making all that stuff happen?
Yeah, I think the challenge comes more throughout the week just because you're putting new guys in different positions and ask them to go out there and execute. But once you get the work in throughout the week, I think we've done a great job of executing on game day and hitting some of those throws. Obviously, it's forced guys to have bigger roles than we expected early in the season. At the same time, I feel like guys have kind of accepted the challenge, and that's why we've been able to win the games that we've been able to win.
Talk about a lot of plays where it seemed like you sort of planted and threw and made up your mind pretty quickly against the Raiders. Is that a result of something you were working on?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just having a good game plan. We had a good feel for what they were going to do, and guys were getting open. And so I give guys chances to make some plays. And when you play a defense like that with the type of pass rush that they have, you have to get the ball out on time. And so we did that this last week, and now let's build upon it. Let's obviously continue to do that, but let's get back to throwing some of the deep passes and then running the ball as well.
Andy mentioned the fact that that a lot of teams playing these shell coverages that a couple of years ago you might have had to sort of read and react to it, but that you're seeing it quicker. How much is that helping you? And I just wonder if you agree with that assessment.
Yeah, for sure. I think when I was younger, I wanted to throw it deep every time, there's good and bad to that, and so I think more than anything, it's just finding that right balance of still pushing it down the field, but at the same time taking what's there and moving the chains. And I think we've done a great job of that, and I think as we started to execute better in the red zone, we've been able to score more and more points. And so we're going to continue to just work to get better, and we want to be playing our best football by the end of the year.
With the knowledge that your defense is such a strength, it's been that way the past years, has it changed a little bit of your offensive mentality even still, just maybe in slightly more conservative in a sense?
I think I don't want to say more conservative, but definitely once you get a lead, you know that defense is going to get stopped. So we want to go in and score as many points as possible. I'm not going to we don't want to score, but in certain situations where we might have pressed the issue and try to force something to make something happen, knowing that our defense can get stops and that we can punt and we can get the ball back in a better type of position on the field, it speaks to the entire team, and I think that's something that I've kind of evolved throughout my career.
Patrick, the WNBA is looking to expand. It's reported that you met with the WNBA. Talk about the importance of trying to bring them to Kansas City.
Yeah, obviously, we want to get basketball to Kansas City in general, and then WNBA and the success that they've had this last season and these last few seasons, it's kind of a no-brainer. To try to get a WNBA team in Kansas City to this fan base. You see it if you talk about Kansas, University of Kansas basketball, the Chiefs, or whatever it is. The city of Kansas City is going to come out and they're going to fill the stadium, and so. It was cool that we were able to get this women's soccer team here in the current, and they're going into the playoffs now, and you see the support that they have. And so let's try to get a WNBA team in here as well, and kind of that same type ownership group. And they've done the current the right way, and I want to continue to work with them to take that next step and get a WNBA team here.
You were in the Rawls Business School and studied marketing down at Tech. How important is that, or how beneficial was that when you were in the rooms talking?
Yeah, I think just seeing just how business works, it's helped me throughout my entire career. The preparation when I went to the Rawls Business School was that I was going to hopefully be an athlete, and I was going to be able to know more than just being an athlete and letting someone else handle all my other businesses outside of football. And it's prepared me to be in some of these meetings that I've been in, and I get to see it from both sides as a player and as a owner or whatever you want to call manager, whatever it is. And it helps me put my perspective and my input into these meetings that I meet with these other leagues, and I can kind of show how hopefully we can make it a great place for owners, but a great place for players as well.
Back to the WNBA for a second. Just can you remind us why it's been important for you to be involved in the Royals and sporting and everything you're involved with?
Yeah, just because Kansas City is such a great place for me, it's a place that I call home. It's a place that I built a house at, and that I will be for a long, long time. And so I think being involved in the community as much as possible, and I love sports. I know how much the city loves sports, and so let's bring as many sports in here and showcase how great Kansas City is, not only as a city, but the people that are in the city as well.
That's how realistic, is the timetable on the WNBA talks? They seem to want to go for
Yeah, they want to expand. Just like any other business, you have to kind of pick and choose how to expand. You want to expand as fast as you can, but you want to do it in a way that's profitable for them, but also good for the players and the quality of the sport. And so, obviously, you've seen this last few years, the WNBA has really grown. And so we feel like Kansas City is a great place to continue that growth. But we have to battle with other cities to prove why we can sustain and have a great franchise here.
Establish that this is important to you. How far do you foresee your ownership ventures or investment ventures going in sports? I mean, do you have any broader plan right now, or you just will keep moving it?
No, I wouldn't say a broader plan, not necessarily. I think more than anything, I just know how much sports has given to me. And so whenever I'm done playing football, whenever that is, and I have to venture off into life after football and chasing kids around and everything like that, I want to be able to still be a part of it. And so obviously it started early with the Royals, then Sporting, then the Current, and now hopefully we can get this WNBA team here. And it's for life after football, so I can still make an impact in all sports. And then at the same time showcase to my daughter that she can follow her dream and go out there and execute whatever that dream is.
Patrick, Jody Fortson shared that he tore his ACL on Sunday. You've known him for 5 years now, I guess. How tough is it to see a guy like that you've been around to go through yet another tough injury like that? Yeah, it's extremely tough just because you know how hard he's worked to get back from the injuries that he's had in the past, and he's such a good dude. I mean, he'll do whatever to be on that football field. He's one of those guys you're like, go block the middle linebacker. He'll go block the middle linebacker. He'll do whatever it takes to help your team win, and so. You feel terrible. I mean, in the locker room after kind of somewhat getting the news, and you don't know for sure, but you kind of know, and you see how much it means for him, and it means a lot for us for him to be out there. And so, obviously, it's terrible news, but at the same time, I know the human, I know the person, I know he'll continue to fight back and give himself another opportunity to get back out on that football field.
Patrick, I know you're not entirely happy with some of the stats this year with the interceptions. The last few have been really kind of out of your control in a couple of ways. On your maturity level at this point, how much easier is it for you to deal with things like that than maybe it would have been 5 years ago when
I think more than anything, when we win, it doesn't hurt as bad. I mean, obviously, I want to be perfect. I want to be great. I don't want to put our defense in bad positions like I did the other day. But at the end of the day, I want to win, and however we have to win the football game, I'm good with it. If that's scoring a lot of touchdowns, that's not scoring touchdowns, if that's running the football, whatever it is, it's playing defense to win football games. I just want to win at the end of the day, and I think we're doing a great job of that.
Emily, why are women's sports so important to you to kind of
sit here? Yeah, I said it a little bit. I mean, I think first, it's just a showcase to my daughter, who I believe loves sports so far. I mean, it's everything we do. She wants to hit the baseball off the tee. She wants to play soccer. I want to show that she can follow her dreams and make an impact in this world, and whatever that dream is. And then as I've met players and women from other sports that I've kind of been around, including my wife, and show that they didn't get some of the same things that I got coming up as far as the resources and the facilities and stuff like that. So I want to give them those same resources, those same facilities, and you've seen it with the Current. Whenever you give them the best of the best, they go out and perform at an even higher level. And so I'm excited for the playoff run we're about to have with the Current, and I want to continue to work in women's sports as long as I can.
Okay, thanks, Patrick.
One of the biggest moments in Kansas City history was 2017 when the Chiefs traded up and took Patrick Mahomes. Not just for the organization and the franchise, but what he's doing in the Kansas City area. I mean, the footprint and the landscape of sports in Kansas City in the next 15 years, with Patrick Mahomes being a part of it, could be vastly different with the Current and maybe a WNBA team. Whataburgers. We'll see. Here's Creed Humphrey.
In June with the injuries and things, but he has been running the ball, interior line. Has that been fun for you guys to have that success?
Yeah, definitely. We enjoy it. Whenever our names get called to run the ball, it's a lot of fun, and we take a lot of pride in it. So proud of the guys so far and how we've ran the ball, and just continuing to improve on offense is the goal right now.
What kind of challenges do you see with the nose tackle like Vita Vea in the run game?
Yeah, he's a dominant nose guard. He has been his whole career. He's one of the best in the league, and he has been since he's been in the league. So he presents a lot of challenges, and he's a fun guy to play against.
You guys knew coming into the season that other teams were going to give you their best shot. Just wondering how you guys have embraced that challenge. Was that something you talked a lot about in training camp, just knowing that this was coming?
Yeah, whenever you win the way we have, you're going to get everybody's best shot. So we've been prepared for that. We know every game's going to be a dogfight, and we've kind of embraced it. And just for us, it's been taking it week by week and focusing on the opponent, focusing on the schemes and everything they do.
How do you sort of keep yourself mentally prepared for something like that?
Yeah, you just got to take it day by day. Don't look too far ahead in the future. Just focus on the present and control the things you can control, and don't worry about the things you can't control.
That's probably a message you've gotten for 15 years or so. Is it different here, that message, than maybe anywhere else you've ever been, where it's all about today and one game at a time and all that?
Yeah, it was something that we talked about at OU too. Whenever I was in college, winning 4 straight Big 12 championships, you're going to get everybody's best shot in the Big 12. So it's kind of something I've heard since college, and especially when you got here, you're winning Super Bowls, you're having the success that this organization has had. It's just the same message. Take it day by day.
What's impressed you the most about what Patrick's been asked to do this season and what he has done on the field so far?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's the best quarterback in the league for a reason. And he's done a lot of good stuff, a lot of clutch moments already this year. So just watching him work and continue to work, grow relations with the newer receivers, things like that, it's been really good to see.
What jumps out to you when you say he's the best quarterback in the league? Like, what makes you say that?
Yeah, I mean, he just has been for a while now. He's got that competitive angle to him that he always strives to be the best. He's always working to be the best. He's very detailed in what he does throughout the week, and it shows up on game day.
Does it change anything, especially this season? It seems like he's moving around a lot more, keeping plays going and running. Does that change the offensive line's approach at all?
Not really. You have Pat. You don't really know where he's going to be on every drop back. So he's going to continue to make plays happen, keep the ball alive, and everything like that. So our job is to block our guy until we hear the whistle. So that's our big focus, is staying between our guy and the ball carrier, no matter what. And you do that, good things tend to happen, especially with a quarterback like him.
Pro Football Focus has you, Joe, and Trey on their all mid-season all-pro teams. Excuse me. Not talking well today. What does that just mean to you guys as a group, the way that you are playing right now? What's been just the last couple of years leading up and building this?
Yeah, being with those guys for the past 4 years, I feel like we've built a lot of continuity and a lot of chemistry across the line. And I think it's a testament to how well the whole group works together, and how we prepare day to day and week to week. And you got guys in that room that are very good at getting ready throughout the week, prepping, doing all that stuff to make the game as easy as it can be for you. So they do a great job, and it's been a lot of fun to play with them.
Great. To follow up to an earlier question, Andy likes to do a lot of different things. How cognizant do you and your guys have to be of just not getting downfield too fast, just considering if there are so many different lateral type looks?
Yeah, for us, we do it play by play. Just understand the concept of the play and what can happen on the play. Obviously, you got some like Travis whenever he kind of gets it out there, but no, really for us, it's just focusing, understanding schemes and concepts, and understanding what we're trying to get done with the play, and playing off of that.
Chris, you guys had to play smash mouth football and win. Do you feel confident enough that you're physical to be able to do it?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I said, the guys in the room take a lot of great pride in that, and they've done a great job so far, and we're going to continue to build on it, and just continue to build everything on the offense. And I feel like we're improving each week, and I think it's coming along great, and I think we're going to start seeing some really good results soon.
Sam, and then we'll do last couple.
Creed, what stands out about the year that Trey's had? Like, what makes him so tough for a defensive lineman?
Yeah, well, first physicality. He's probably the most physical lineman in the league. He loves getting after guys, putting guys on the ground, getting after them. So just probably just the physicality that it brings, and also the mental prep that he does throughout the week to be able to see things as it's happening, before it's happening, pre-snap, post-snap, what's happening, all those things. He does a great job with it. And like I said, he understands schemes well and concepts well, and what we're trying to do against the defense that's given to us.
There's been a few plays where he has pancake guys and seems to really go through the whistle to do it. Like, what's that like rewatching that back?
Yeah, it fires us up, and it makes everybody else play with that much more of an edge. When you see it on the film, you see your guy doing that. It's kind of infectious. It makes you want to do it too, and it kind of turns into a competition to see who can do it the most on the field. Trey usually wins, but it turns into a competition, and he just does a great job. He brings so much energy to the room and gets guys fired up, so it's a lot of fun to play with him.
Thanks, Creed.
Yep.
Thank you.
Trey Smith is great. You don't want him leaving. I mean, this interior of the offensive line has been really awesome, and one of the big reasons why this team has been so physical. And as Creed Humphrey said, can they be physical enough? Yeah, they can be physical enough to continue doing what they're doing. They have been. And the Raiders were a team that wanted to bring physicality, and that was a tough, grinded-out running game that the Chiefs had to go up against with the Raiders. And they did enough, and they ran the ball enough, and they were able to score, and Mahomes doing what he did. And as Mahomes said, the interceptions and the numbers, if you win, they don't hurt as bad. You lose, then that might be a different story. But he's like, I'd love the numbers, but if I'm handing off, if I'm running for the touchdown, if we're winning, punting, whatever it is that we need to do, that's what we're going to do. And has the defense changed his mentality at all, and maybe a little more conservative? He said, I wouldn't say conservative, but we know that when we get a lead, they're going to protect it. So they're going to get stops, but other instances we may have pushed the envelope if we needed to. I needed to find the quote there because it was a good point by him. Like, this defense has not made them more conservative, but it means that they're not saying we have to do this on this drive. We need to be a little riskier on this drive. Hey, we need to go a little bit, maybe some tempo. Let's go a little bit quicker here. We need to force some things. And as he said, like, they're not having to do that now. Where in other instances with a different defense, the offense might look different.
Yeah.
Like, I do wonder, like, from that standpoint, like, how much is the offense playing the way that it is because there is more of an overall trust of the defense that Mahomes may not feel like, especially after the first few weeks, that, hey, I don't need to be making some dumb decisions and dumb throws. The last few weeks' interceptions have been unlucky.
Well, I noticed that in the Ravens game, the playoff game last year.
Yeah.
We kept saying, it was like, well, they only scored, was it 17 points? And I'm like, because they didn't need to. Why would he put the ball in harm's way? Why would you try and do something that could potentially be sinking the ship when you just stay afloat because the defense is doing their job?
Well, like, if Joe Burrow didn't turn the ball over, the Chiefs lose in week 2, I believe. Joe Burrow fumbles the ball, and it's a scoop and score. They controlled that game. And then Joe Burrow loses the football. Shamari Connor picks it up and scores, and the Chiefs end up winning that game. Like, I do think that's maybe the biggest play of the Chiefs still being undefeated.
Well, it's almost like the Yankees-Dodgers game last night.
Yes.
Just be smart. Do the little things.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. We're going to hear from Joshua Uche here in just a little bit. But, I was mentioning before Creed got to the podium, and whenever Joshua Uche gets to the podium, we'll head out there no matter what we're talking about or what part of the conversation we're in. But how much different Kansas City is in these last 7 years since they drafted him in April of 2017, and how much different the landscape of this city could be in 10 to 15 years with Patrick Mahomes being as invested in Kansas City as he is. Like he said, Kansas City's my home. I love it here. I built a house here. We're going to be here for a long time. And that's why it was important for him, being a part of the Royals. Obviously important for him to be a part of the Current. I mean, his wife, professional soccer player, college soccer player, that's in their family. So being a part of the KC Current, and now meeting with the commissioner and the Current ownership group, meeting with the commissioner of the WNBA to bring WNBA here to Kansas City and have an anchor tenant at T-Mobile. They are expanding to 16 teams by 2028. They're at 12 right now. They have already said that Golden State, Toronto, and Portland, so that means they have one more city to grant an expansion team to by 2028. And Kansas City is one of what would be reported 5 cities. Philly, Miami, Denver, Nashville, and now Kansas City. And some of those cities, bigger, maybe more of a population to support the WNBA.
Yeah, Philly's huge, 5th biggest city population-wise, but they have all these other.
Nashville and Kansas City would be the only 2 on that list that don't currently have an NBA team.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cities that have NBA and WNBA. There's only a couple that have no NBA team that would have a WNBA team. Because even Portland, Toronto, and Golden State as expansion, they have the NBA teams. So for Kansas City, I do wonder from a WNBA standpoint and getting the promotional part out of it and ratings being the highest they were for the WNBA finals in 25 years, and the ratings increasing with Caitlin Clark, does it matter that Patrick Mahomes is a part of the ownership group for the WNBA if they continue to try to bring eyeballs and attention to the sport as opposed to a general ownership group in Philly or Miami or Denver or Nashville? I don't know who would be a part of those ownership groups, but I know Patrick Mahomes, who's the most famous athlete in the country right now. Well, he and Kelsey. So maybe, you know what? Get Kelsey and Taylor Swift involved. Now you're talking about a horse of a different color. If you get Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey involved a little bit more, but I wonder how much that plays a role. How much that is an impact that you can sway one way or another for what city they decide to go to out of these 5 what could be finalists for this last city.
I'd assume at least a little bit. I mean, that has to have some sort of
Can't
sway.
hurt.
And again, I think some of those other places, some of the WNBA teams play at the NBA Places arena, so that's a big issue or a big deal, right? Like the Minnesota Lynx, they play where they play the Targets. It's where so they already have that built, but the Kansas City is unique in that they already have the T-Mobile Center, so they already have a place.
They have an NBA
built.
arena that they don't have to schedule around NBA teams.
Correct. So it makes it even simpler. Like Louisville's always thrown around for NBA, and I'm surprised they're not for WNBA because they have the Yum Center.
Right.
It's a little different, but they do have at least a place set up specifically that could hold that. KC, again, is uniquely positioned, and they have that with, as you're mentioning as well, they don't have an NBA team currently there. You don't have to worry about that. You have, I got to look at just all the scheduling, but you have Big 12. You have some March Madness games.
And a lot of that is during the summer, too.
Agreed.
You know, that the WNBA is playing. So there is a little bit of a crossover there. Like Nashville also has hockey. You know,
so they
don't
could
have NBA,
play
but
the Predators. And
they get a schedule around that a little bit.
Well, in Philly, for example, I wonder how that would play because you already have the Sixers and you have the Flyers that play in the exact same arena.
Yeah.
Like they have it set up so you have Phillies, Eagles, and then you have the Sixers and Flyers that play in the same arena. Where are you putting the WNBA team? Are they building something new?
Yeah, right.
Are you going to play there and have 3 teams with 1 home?
And it's funny because that's not even funny, but it's interesting because that's also something that I would think would be an impact as to why they would lean Kansas City. Not only Patrick Mahomes and Brittany, but you've got the Longs that built the first ever women-specific professional stadium in soccer in the world.
Yeah.
Here in Kansas City. The first professional women's soccer team to have their own stadium. Right here in Kansas City. So that would show to the WNBA, to the other owners, the seriousness in which this ownership group would take the women's sports and growing the game, which is obviously what they want to do, and they want to go to a place that will help them grow the game. You've got the only professional female-specific stadium that was built, the first one here in Kansas City for the KC Current. And you would have Patrick Mahomes as well. So you'd have that ownership group that's already shown their own investment in doing that, and you've already got the built stadium or the arena. You don't have the crossover in May and June, depending on playoffs, because...
Playoffs?
Right. Because if you're talking about, I mean, you're coming up with a WNBA schedule, and you're starting in May and June, while the NBA has playoffs. Playoffs? How is that to schedule around? You know? Like, if Philadelphia is granted a WNBA team, and they've got a schedule that they're going to be playing a home game because it works with the Flyers not being there, and all of a sudden the 76ers are playing a postseason game that's supposed to be that night there, who gets moved? I'll tell you who gets moved. WNBA. I don't know how much that has happened, if there's been, impacts like that. Quite frankly, not watching the WNBA as much until, this last year or so when Caitlin Clark came on. And we, watch it a lot more now than we have. And we watch women's, basketball a lot more than we have. And so
May
I would
5th
love a
was
WNBA team.
May 5th was the first game. It was a preseason game, but that was still the Target Arena for Minnesota. So May 5th. And the final game was October 18th.
Yeah. So
you're
there's
May to
a
October.
crossover of 4 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
It's the end of the playoffs and
playoffs.
Playoffs
I can
last
never
month
hear
or so.
playoffs and not just
100%. So there's a little bit of crossover, and if your NBA team doesn't make the playoffs, then there may not be any crossover.
Sure, of course. But again, Kansas City doesn't have that issue, thanks to Garth Brooks.
There you go. That's exactly right. Yes, it's the house that Garth built. Is that what they call it?
I love Garth Brooks, but
what?
That's kind of a reason that Kansas City doesn't have an NBA team.
It's because of Garth?
Partially, yeah.
Okay, well.
Did you not know that? Did you not know the story behind it?
No.
With OKC, Hurricane, and Garth Brooks, they were what was it? The OKC at the time. The Supersonics were going to come to KC and play some games because they were trying to test it out. But Garth Brooks kept selling out shows, and so that never came to fruition because he kept selling out shows.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm happy for. I love Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
But
I like how you hate Garth Brooks. It's interesting.
I love Garth Brooks, but I don't like Chris Gaines, though.
For like Nashville.
Who's worse, Philip Gaines or Chris Gaines?
Oh, man, I don't know. For Nashville, the Predators season
Only one's
starts.
real, so.
That's right. For the Predators, that starts early October.
Yeah.
So it's, again, if you've got a WNBA team in the late playoffs and the finals and you've got, the Predators there, then you're dealing with that. So, but they're already going to places that have an NBA team in Golden State, Toronto, and Portland. And we'll see what Kansas City may bring to the table because of Patrick and Brittany and the Longs and what they've done for Kansas City. But 2017 was a pretty big deal when the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons with the Chiefs and the franchise and winning 3 out of 5 Super Bowls and what it's done for the city. I joked in 2019 when they were heading to the Super Bowl, and I said, man, Patrick Mahomes is going to make a lot of money, and he's going to make a lot of people a lot of money. And he has.
I never dreamed.
Oh, well, you should start, man.
Well, I don't
write them down like a vision board.
You also get nightmares, so I don't want to.
That's a good
dream,
point.
Yeah. Dreams and Nightmares. There's actually a song by it. Meek Mill wrote about it. I was at the draft when they drafted Mahomes. I was
Were
there.
you really?
I was. Oh yeah. I was there. I lived in Philly. I lived on 26th and Brown, right there in the Art District. It was great, and I was there. And
Was that in West Philadelphia?
I did live in West Philadelphia for
But
a year
you
and a
weren't born
half.
and raised.
No, I was not born and raised. This was Fairmount, basically, on the Rocky Steps.
Was there a playground that you spent most of your days?
I did play a lot of outdoor basketball there. It was awesome.
Cool. Anyway, go ahead.
I never dreamed that this is what would happen. Like it's weird looking back, and when the Chiefs traded up, and my dumbass was leaving, and I'm running back down in sandals to get back to see who the Chiefs are gonna draft. I lived that close. It was crazy. It was a 5-minute walk tops. Car side view mirror got ripped off. That's a different story. I never dreamed that this would be. It's weird thinking back then. The Chiefs trade up, draft Mahomes. I'm excited. The Chiefs get a quarterback. No idea. I think maybe they get a slight addition, a slight improvement over Alex Smith. At least you have excitement, right? You have the possibility of what's in the box. I never thought what's in the box was going to be this.
Well, I didn't think that in 7 either, what was in the box. I didn't think it was going to be that, but it was.
And so that's what's so, to me, what's so interesting and so cool is you have a superstar who wants to be, who cares about being here. I mean, it could have been Deshaun Watson. And take the off-the-field stuff off for a second. You could have had a really solid quarterback for a few years who then left, right? I mean, that's what it was. You could have drafted, and it could have been Mitchell Trubisky. No. But seriously, how many quarterbacks have been drafted, or even quarterbacks that have been good? And even I love Joe Burrow to an extent, but I don't think Joe Burrow means to Cincinnati what Mahomes means to the.
Not yet.
Sure,
because of the Super Bowls and the investment in the city and everything.
But the investment in the city and there's not many quarterbacks, cornerstones. Daniel Jones has been in New York this amount of time, and just even off the field, that doesn't mean to New York. What Mahomes means to Kansas City, as you're getting to, just means so much. It's so refreshing to have that, and just helping Kansas City, the city, grow.
Las Vegas and Connecticut are the two WNBA teams without an NBA team. Las Vegas and Connecticut.
Connecticut, because of UConn, probably such a big basketball.
Yeah, right. It's pretty damn close to New York as well.
True, yeah.
But
you're right
Vegas, there. I mean, you've got the Knights that you would be, that they have to deal with. But again, you're talking about a little bit of a crossover because of the schedule season for the WNBA. but the other 3 teams that they are adding in the expansion, Golden State, Toronto, and Portland, also already have an NBA team. So Kansas City or Nashville, whoever would get the last city, we get the last expansion, would be the only ones that are sort of being considered that do not already have an NBA team, because Philly, Miami, and Denver are the other 3 that are in contention for a WNBA team. So, yeah, obviously all of those bigger cities, bigger population.
But I mean, if Connecticut has a team, if Indiana has a team, I mean,
right. And Indiana's got the Pacers already, but
yeah, and they play the same place.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, look, man, he's investing in the city a lot, and it's been great, whether you like Whataburger or not. I mean, Patrick Mahomes says, "Let's do this," and it happens. He said they should have a Whataburger, and now there's like 30 of them in town. You know, just don't say In-N-Out so people can not have to worry about how overrated that place is. So that was unnecessary.
I love In-N-Out.
That was
oh, dog! I forgot we had the whole conversation in Tahoe.
We did, yes.
Dylan, we got into many an argument over In-N-Out in Tahoe.
Yeah,
it's delicious. Their burgers are outstanding. They're inexpensive.
Those Freddy's and Winsteads.
Yeah, yes,
it's
right.
the same thing.
Yeah, but it's cheaper too. It's inexpensive.
It's fine.
Is the flight and West Coast prices cheaper as well? because
fine.
you have to take a whole
Here's
trip
the thing,
to go.
No. I was there.
Throw a bunch of.
I was already there.
Dude, you got to get it animal style. Oh, so I don't actually taste the food. I just taste all the animal style sauce.
No,
and
you guys are just.
Yeah, tell me more about how great it is
you
when you
guys
get it animal
are just
style with everything.
Absurd.
The fries are terrible.
Grow up.
The fries are terrible.
Because they're real potatoes and real fries.
You can have real potatoes and real fries. They're just thin and crispy, and they're terrible.
Yeah, it's Freddy's.
Yeah,
I can go to Freddy's and have
I love Freddy's
I'd
too.
rather go to Freddy's.
I love Freddy's too. They're a little different burgers.
I'd much
Different
rather
fries.
go to Shake Shack.
Not enough to care.
Oh, better than Shake Shack. You're
Or
out of
Five
your
Guys.
gourd. Five Guys is the pinnacle. Stop
In-N-Out
that.
is not better than Shake Shack.
It is half the price of Shake Shack.
Now.
Half the price.
We're not talking about price. We're just talking about what it
Shake
tastes
Shack.
like.
And their burgers are better.
Yes, the Shake Shack burger is better. You're right.
No. You're out of your gourd.
You are off your rocker. All right. Ridiculous.
Tell your taste buds to grow up.
Hey, we heard from Joshua Uche yet? I hope he gets to the quarterback quicker than he gets to the podium. That'd be great.
If he doesn't come, I'm going to start talking in a Peaky Blinders accent. Hello, Joshua Uche.
I don't think that's really the accent because you haven't seen the show. But
I haven't seen the
fine.
show. Is it more of like a Scottish? I can't really do accents
it's
very well.
1920s England, post World War I.
So is it like hello, governor?
Oh, I don't know. It's not as bad. I mean, there are some, like Tom Hardy is pretty rough. Here's Joshua Uche.
All right, guys, go for Joshua.
Hey, Joshua, welcome to Kansas City. How did the trade process kind of all come about for you? How did you find out about it, and what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, Sunday came around, and they told me I was a healthy scratch. You know, that kind of was a telltale sign something was up. You know, I kind of didn't want to look too much into it, but the following day I got a call from Elliot Wolf that I had been traded to Kansas City. And from there, things kind of picked up really fast, and now I'm here. So.
What was your thoughts when you were going to the Chiefs?
Playing with Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. I'm playing with some of the greatest guys in the league right now, and just trying to get in where I fit in and help keep this thing rolling.
Joshua, can you give us a sense of what the view of this team and its success recently is from the outside?
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing Kansas City last year, and we had to bring our A game. I mean, just so versatile in all phases, special teams, defense, offense. So there's so many different threats and weapons on the team that you just got to prepare for.
Joshua, did you hear anything about Coach Spags before you got here?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's one of the legends in the league, you know, just from all the different schemes he runs, blitzes, pressures, you name it. I mean, yeah, he's definitely a legend around the league, and I mean, seeing him up close and personal day in, day out right now is like, I don't know, it still doesn't feel real just yet. It'll hit me soon, though.
I know you're a vet, and it's been said that it takes a little while for them to pick up this playbook. First looking at it, what do you think?
Man, yeah, it's a lot, man. Yeah. You know, that's what makes him so great. You know, he brings in smart, tough, dependable football players that can pick up and absorb a lot of information. So, you know, I know it's my first couple of days in, but I'm working the best I can to absorb all the information.
Josh, I know you haven't Joshua, I know you haven't practiced yet, but do you feel like you could play Monday night?
I'm doing everything I can to be out there. At the end of the day, that's a coaching decision. So just doing everything I can to be prepared and ready to go to help the team win.
Joshua, based on your conversations with Steve and some of the defensive staff members, how do you feel like you might fit into what's happening here in Kansas City right now?
Yeah, they just want me to do what I do best and do what I can to help the team win, whether it be special teams, defense, whatever it is, And that's what I'm going to do.
Joshua, how would you describe your game and how it fits into the Chiefs with what you've seen so far in the play with them?
Yeah, pressure, applying pressure and just doing my job as well. I think that's what it boils down to, and just operating within the framework of the defense. And like I said, you got some of the greatest guys in the league. Chris Jones, you got Karlaftis doing this thing. I got Mike Dana, just trying to get in where I fit in.
What did you know about, like observing from afar about Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, just, if you'd seen them anything on play?
Yeah, Chris Jones is a problem. That's one thing I think we could all unanimously agree on, is that he's a problem. And, Karlaftis and Dana and Menahu, everybody, everyone plays so well together. They mesh well together. And they're even greater guys, like inside the meeting room. So, just excited to be here.
A couple more.
What do you think it does for your pass rush game, just knowing that Chris Jones is going to eat up players a lot of times, they can be one-on-one?
I mean, listen to what you just said. Yeah, I mean, you got to pay attention to him. He's a problem. Like, I don't know how many times I could say that. So to do the best that I can to kind of, help alleviate some of that pressure, or just, find my role and play the best that I can. So
We're going to work our way across the room. We'll go Nate, Todd, Sam, Adam.
Joshua, can you explain just how difficult the season had been for you before the trade and what it means when a team is trying to win a Super Bowl and they believe you were a part of the equation that may help them get to that goal?
Yeah, being in New England for 5 years, obviously I didn't have the results or the outcomes I wanted. But I went back to New England. I love the coaches there, everyone there, and just trying to do my best to help, keep the ship afloat. And obviously there were some things that I wanted to get the most juice out of the game that I possibly could. And when I got traded, or I heard I was getting traded here, I was excited, because I feel like this scheme, this team, this organization is definitely going to help me maximize my potential being 26 years old. And I'm just excited.
You mentioned Mike. You guys crossed for 1 year at Michigan, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you been buddies? You stay in contact? Is it one of those guys who you've been friendly with?
Yeah, I got his jersey in my locker when we played, Kansas City last year. We had to get a jersey swap going, and I remember being back at Michigan, Mike coming in and put up like 5 plates on the bench, and just one of the strongest guys I know, and I'm just excited to be back paired up with him. So.
You guys played together just 1 year, right, in college?
Yes, sir.
Did you see this kind of career for him when you guys were together? Did you feel like he'd be a productive NFL player?
Definitely. From day one, I mean, bro, his long arm, like, that's one of the, when he locks that inside pec out, I mean, it's over with. Good luck. So, you can see that from day one, man. So.
Thanks, Joshua. Thanks everyone.
All right, I'm in. I'm all in. Go ahead and extend him right now. Contract extension? Right now? I haven't even seen the guy play in a Chiefs uniform, but I am in.
Golden.
On Joshua Uche. Hell yes. Let's get that guy out there on the field on Monday. Cannot wait to watch him. Dude, sometimes you can just tell in the voice about their excitement level to play. And for him, when he was asked about what was your reaction when you found out you were going to the Chiefs, shoot, Holmes and Andy Reid and Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, some of the greatest guys in the league. Steve Spagnuolo, he's a legend. And then seeing him up close and personal, it still hasn't hit me that I'm playing for Steve Spagnuolo. I'm doing everything I can to be prepared to play. That's a coaching decision, but I want to be out there. I mean,
dog.
That was good. I'll listen to more of. I wish we had more Joshua Uche. I wish he was still at the podium talking.
I feel bad for opposing quarterbacks,
dude. Cannot wait, man.
Him and Chris Jones.
Yeah, he's a problem. Chris Jones is. How good? Chris Jones. He's a problem. Chris Jones is a problem. Mike Dana, once he gets that inside arm locked in that pec, it's over. But also, who among us hasn't showed up and put 5 plates on the bench press? I mean, come on. So are they
5 plates?
Are they paper plates?
Yeah.
You know, what's kind of
dang it, you took it. It's paper plates. Yeah, 5 plates.
Put
paper.
plenty of, just cut out the middle, put those 5 plates on there.
And that's still 45 in 46 pounds the most.
You think that's
because it was a 45 pound
10 plates total, 5 on each side of paper plates. You think that's a full pound? 10
what do you
paper
think?
plates? I don't know. That's like
45
and it's like 45 and a
quarter.
third. All right, we'll take a time out. Come back. Continue rolling more zone next. is confirmed. Also calling Steve Spagnuolo a legend. A legend. Chris Jones, a problem. Mike Dana gets a hold of you with his long arms, it's over. Loved listening to Joshua Uche saying he's going to do everything he can to be prepared and play on Monday night. That'll be a coaching decision if he's going to be out there. Mike Dana did return to practice. Andy Reid mentioned that. Juju Smith-Schuster did not practice today. Najee Johnson is able to go through walkthroughs as he's still in the concussion protocol. And Mike Dana returned to practice. So that's the latest with the Chiefs and the injuries. Last night, the Dodgers get the win over the Yankees. After the game was over, Juan Soto, clip number 12 here, Juan Soto was asked, was this his last game in a Yankee uniform?
You never know, man. At the end of the day, we will see where we are. Definitely tough game to be my last one, but really happy with what we accomplished as a team and how far we got. Definitely, we want to get to we wanted to be the last team standing, but things happen.
Now, if you just read that and took it out of context, when he said, definitely a tough game to be my last one, I think he was saying from the premise of, if this is my last game, right? But if you just took, wow, Juan Soto said that's definitely a tough game to be his last game in a Yankee uniform, he's gone. Well, there was a follow-up then about how are you going to be approaching free agency. Here's Juan Soto on what the next couple of months will be.
I don't know what's the teams that want to come after me, but definitely I'll be open to this and every single team. I don't have any doors closed or anything like that, so I'm going to be available for all 30 teams.
Damn right.
Royals.
Go get him, John Sherman.
Royals.
Go get that. Mama, there goes that man. He's in the Yankees club right now, so go give him a shot.
Just saying, the Royals do need a guy who can get on base.
But I you can bat him leadoff. He doesn't need to be number 2 hitter. Bat him leadoff. You already got a number 2 hitter. I do love the fact that he was asked, would you like to return to the Yankees next year? Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not sure what all teams are going to come after him. I'm open to all 30 teams. That was not the canned, just lost a game answer of, hell yeah, I'd love to return here, man. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I would love to be. This has been a great experience. I love playing here. The fans are awesome. The history here in New York, Yankees. Yeah, I would love to be back here next offseason. Oh, I don't know who's going to come after me. I'm not sure which teams. All 30 teams I'm open to, so we'll find out.
So he's clearly about the money.
Yes, who's going to give me the most money?
Because normally it's like, we just lost. We'll talk about the contract stuff a little later on. Like right now, my focus is on getting back. Just anything.
Yeah, dude. There was so many other things he could have said that would have been like just
good for him though. He's honest.
I love it.
He's honest.
Yeah, just been coach speak, player speak instead.
Sometimes it's better.
Yeah.
Ask Anthony Richardson.
That's right. Sometimes you just give the coach speech. But I love that he didn't. Oh, I mean, I'm not sure who's going to come after me. So I can't say that I'm going to be a Yankee
way
next
different
year.
than Anthony Richardson.
And some of it might be English as a second language.
Also, a great point.
Of just like, hey, do you want to be a Yankee next year? Well, if I say yes, does that mean that other teams are, well, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's, honestly, that is a really good point. I mean,
but I think it's great. It's like,
I love it.
Oh,
but
I don't know who all is going to come after me. I'm open to all 30 teams. There's no closed door. Go get him, John Sherman. Go get him. Put him in right field.
Yeah,
Huh? That's
say
a Gold Glove candidate in right
There's
field.
at least 2 teams he won't go to, and that's the A's or Tampa Bay, because he would be more than their entire payroll. So
That's true. And the Royals are spending money.
Yeah.
I mean, J.J. Piccolo just, you know what? Here's what you do. Pay Juan Soto $2 million. Just defer the payment.
Do the Shohei Ohtani method.
Defer the payment to 2034, 2048. You know, at that point, you're going to be making money hand over fist, as they say. So you can just write a check for anything.
Is it hand over fist or hand over foot?
Hand over foot and fist. Hand, foot, and
your
mouth.
hand is your fist.
Hand, foot, and mouth.
No, that's a disease. You don't want that.
I know that. You don't have kids yet, so.
Yeah, actually, I guess I don't know that.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, wrap up the hour coming up next, and we'll play some sports or leisure in the 1 o'clock hour. More Zone next. breaks, but we'll play some sports or leisure coming up in the 1 o'clock hour.
Leisure
and sports, or either and or. Sports and or leisure. SAOL. It's usually just SOL, but that comes up in the next segment for the next hour, sports or leisure, presented by Johnny's Tavern, giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern. We've got that coming up here in the next hour. We've talked with Kent Swanson today. We heard from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Creed Humphrey, Joshua Uche, and we'll hear from you with sports or leisure. And we've heard from Freddie Freeman and Tim Kirkchin and Mookie Betts and Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. They all joined us on the show in the first hour. It was very nice of them to do. As the Dodgers, I thought they'd be hungover, but they joined us today. That was very, very kind of them. Sports or leisure next. Got some sports or leisure today. Some scary questions heading your way. You could say that. I wouldn't say that.
Who was the spookiest Chiefs player? Ooh.
Fumble-de-rooski. You could say that.
Who was the left guard in 2014 that spooked everyone?
I don't remember. Know what you're
Mike,
talking
what's
about.
his name?
Okay, sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. Sports or leisure. 913-381-810. First in, first on. $25 to Johnny's Tavern is yours. If you get a sports question and a leisure question right, you will win $25. Get either of them wrong, you lose. The question is out there available for someone to call in and request if they know the answer to it, or they've maybe Googled it, hopefully not in real time. But we give out the answer when it is answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. That's how we play sports or leisure. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern, $25. It is Kansas City's premier sports bar, 10 locations, including Lawrence and Topeka, and the home for your Johnny's Tavern Chiefs football score special. The next day, dine in only with the large specialty pies. There's some pizza from Johnny's Tavern with whatever the Chiefs score on those Mondays. But it's Monday Night Football game this week.
It was Mike McGlynn. Mike McGlynn was the spooky left guard for the Chiefs. Mike McGlynn.
Mike McGlynn. All right, we'll go through the categories here in a second, but I saw this come across my timeline a little bit ago, so I definitely wanted to get it out there because, it's Jameis Winston, and he's a unicorn when it comes to talking and things that he says, and I did not see this earlier. So before we play and start Sports or Leisure, and we'll get right to the game right after this, but this is Jameis Winston on with Good Morning Football, talking about how he's grown over the years into the player he is now.
Man, it's great to watch it back because, I was who I was back then. And as I'm continuing to grow and mature, my early years are adding up. It's that compound interest. It's that compound effect. So every single day, I'm approaching it to be a man of increase and imitate Christ. So as I continue to do that, dog, the sky is the limit. And if the sky's the limit, you can't say the sky's the limit when people have been on the moon, so I'm going to keep on going up. Right. I'm going to keep on inspiring people and hopefully, somebody grow from that.
Sky is the limit when people have been on the moon. That's awesome.
You can't say the sky is the limit when people have been on the moon. Jameis Winston.
What I should do sometime for sports or leisure, for a leisure one, is did or did not Jameis Winston actually say this quote?
Yeah, I like that one. I really like that. That's just the Jameis Winston category.
Yeah, it's either yes or no.
Yes. Jameis or no Jameis?
Did Jameis say,
so did Jameis
how
or no
can
Jameis?
the sky be the limit when people have been on the moon?
Yes, that would be a yes. He absolutely said that.
Yeah, he did say that.
Did Jameis Winston quote Eminem after a game in which they won against the Ravens?
By saying that white boy, I loved it. In the words of a little white boy from
Detroit. All right, 913-381-810. Let's go through the categories here. We have a few NFL questions in the categories, and then we have Royals World Series. With the World Series wrapping up, so does the category of Royals World Series. It spans all four of the World Series games. Some of the questions are combined World Series games, but they are just simply questions about the Royals, Royals players, and Royals games specifically from the World Series. Sterling, what are the categories for you?
Halloween questions.
What?
Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Halloween questions. So that's the main one. And the other one I'll do, because I want most people to pick Halloween because it's going to be fun, is Sterling's favorite albums. I name songs off of albums I enjoy, and you have to tell me the album.
And those are just favorite Halloween song albums?
No, because there's not many. Just favorite albums. Classic rock. They're classic rock, so...
Okay.
But they may not be the most popular. Some are. But some
aren't. Some aren't.
But Halloween's the main one here because let's get spooky.
All right, let's do the dang thing. I'm ready to go. Sterling, you good to go?
I am ready to go, Jason.
Dylan, what say you? All right. See, he's excited. It's Halloween. We're dressed up as Peaky Blinders here. I'm not sure who Cillian Murphy is, but I'll take it. That's fine. If you guys want to just hand it over to me, I didn't ask for it, but I appreciate you guys just saying that I get be him. That's fine.
You'll be the Killian Hayes of the show.
I don't even know what that is, but I'll take it.
That's my point. As an NBA player, didn't play much.
913-381-810 to the phone lines we go, and we start off with Avery leading us off on this Thursday. Avery, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with, sir?
Cillian Murphy is the Scarecrow, and he was in 28 Days Later.
That's what I was going as, is the Scarecrow. If people are watching online or checked out the Twitter, the pictures, it's I went as Scarecrow.
Very good.
Yes, absolutely. It's courtesy of the Peaky Blinders. They say FOOK though, right? They don't even cuss. It's just FO. I don't want you to repeat that, Avery. I'm just saying that's how they say it. FOOK. Anyway, let's go on. What is your category that you want, sir? Inside.
Let me do spooky Halloween category.
Okay, Avery, you're good. So I'm going to give you a hard one first. If you don't get this one, I can give you a second one.
Damn.
All right, Avery. Before carving pumpkins became the norm, what root vegetable did the Irish carve for Halloween instead?
Turnip.
Nice, Avery. Turnips.
Faces.
You
Humans.
dog.
Humans. All right, on to the sports side, sir. We got a few NFL, then we have Royals World Series questions.
I'll do NFL.
All right. Scaredy cat. All right. Did I do this one last week? I can't remember. Derrick Henry had his 20th game with 100-plus rushing yards and multiple touchdowns. There are 3 players in NFL history with more. I don't remember doing that last week.
You did not do that last week.
Okay, great. I thought I corrected all of them and took away the ones from the categories.
That was not a question
This
last
one just stood out for some reason. But, okay, so that's the question to you, Avery. Derrick Henry, he had his 20th game, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, with 100-plus rushing yards and multiple touchdowns. There are 3 players in NFL history with more. Name one. 100 yards rush. Okay, name 2.
Who was the first one you said?
He said Emmitt Smith, and I said name 2.
Ah.
Yes, Emmitt Smith. Well, I mean, technically I said with more, name 1, but I also wrote there are 3 players in NFL history with more. You got it right because he's one of the guys. He actually tied Emmitt Smith for 3rd, but still, there's 3 players that have at least 20. Emmitt Smith has 20, and then tied for 1st all time is Jim Brown and LaDainian Tomlinson with 25.
LT.
25.
I was trying to think of that era. I was like, it's not Sean Alexander because he didn't play. His peak was meteoric, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
LT was that was the one. Yeah.
I mean, and also like Jim Brown didn't have the LeBron James career.
No, he did not.
Years. But Derrick Henry still needs 5 games of 100 yards and multiple touchdowns to tie.
Wow.
Would be all time. And it seems like every game he has 100 yards and multiple touchdowns. It felt like when he was with Tennessee. He didn't have it this last week. I can promise you that.
He's had it 20 times.
I know, but doesn't it feel like every game? Anyway, Avery, that is a winner, sir. We'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Werewolf bar mitzvah, spooky, scary.
Love it.
I know what it means.
I love it.
913-381-810. Let's go to who has been holding the longest. It is Andrew next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Andrew, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Oh, let's do Halloween.
All right. According to their theme song, which family is said to be creepy, kooky, mysterious, and spooky?
The Addams Family.
We would have accepted the Holmes family as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have.
Yeah,
we would have.
On to the sports side, we've got NFL. A couple of questions out there left with that, and then lots of Royals World Series questions. Which one would you like to go with, Andrew?
Let's go Royals World Series.
Royals World Series. Okay, you know what? We actually mentioned this earlier today when we were talking in the first hour about some of the similarities of 2015 Royals and the Dodgers outside of the $300 million payroll of coming from behind 2-1 in the divisional series, winning in 5 games, a huge home run to help win a game in Game 1, winning in New York. And we mentioned this as well. Game 5 of the 2015 World Series, who hit the ball to third on Hosmer's Mad Dash? It's actually a question we've asked before, but I brought it back just because it's fun. I think we asked this question like a couple of months ago when it was the Royals postseason category, but I brought it back just because it's always fun. We need to remember. We need to remember this. Okay?
I wasn't paying attention. What did you say?
Said who hit the ball to third on Hosmer's Mad Dash in Game 5 of the World Series against the Metropolitans?
Oh yeah, you did.
We
ask
mentioned
this
it
one,
earlier.
Yeah.
I asked it a couple months ago, but we also mentioned it earlier today.
Yeah,
in
we
the
did.
First
with
hour.
Duda, yeah.
We know Duda.
Oh, didn't we
Duda.
say? Was it a slower fella?
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember
remember.
the hints we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, I brought it back just for World Series specifically.
Man. That's a good one.
Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Thanks, man.
That's very good.
Yeah, he is slower.
slower. Yeah.
And he batted after Hosmer. Doesn't have to be directly after Hosmer, just in the lineup somewhere after Hosmer. But couldn't be too far after Hosmer, because...
Yeah.
You get the point.
Yeah, let's go Salvi.
Yes, we're bringing Salvi back. That's right. Brought that question back. It is Salvi.
We're bringing Salvi back.
Yep. Salvi is the one that hit the ball down to... Your dogs are so pumped about winning.
Yeah, they was very excited.
Very excited.
Awesome.
What are the dogs' names?
Gus.
Oh, it's only one. That was only one dog?
No, that was one, yeah.
The Gus bus.
Gus sounded like multiple dogs, right, guys?
Yeah, I did.
I thought there were a couple of dogs there.
Least.
Boy, Gus ain't messing around, man. Is somebody in your house? Are you okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay, blink twice if you're in trouble.
Well, everything's good because he's a winner, baby.
That's right. Yeah. Johnny's Tavern, you are heading there. I'm not sure that you can take Gus with you, but maybe bring him back a doggy bag. They've got those for you at Johnny's Tavern. Andrew will put you on hold. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 913-3-810-810. Salvi. We brought Salvi back.
Yeah.
And so are the Royals.
Yeah.
I'm assuming next year they'll bring Salvi back. Let's go to Kevin next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kevin, sports or leisure? What side would you like to start with, sir?
Let's start with sports.
All right, we got a couple of NFL questions, and then we have some plenty of Royals World Series questions.
Oh, I'm an old Royals fan.
Okay. All right. All right, well, you know what? It sort of gives it away, but I don't care if it gives it away. We're having some fun here. Who has the most stolen bases in Royals World Series history?
Oh, my.
Sterling, do you know why I said it sort of gives it away?
Yeah.
When he said he's an older Royals
fan.
I'm like, well, I didn't specifically ask a question about that era, but, the most stolen bases in Royals World Series history. He stole 5 bags in his World Series games. 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, the obvious answer would be Willie Wilson.
Well, I mean, sometimes obvious is right. Sometimes you just go with the
well,
obvious.
let's go with Willie.
Willie Wilson is correct with 5 of them. My next hint was going to be he did not earn anybody a taco with stealing a base. So clearly it wasn't 14 or 15, okay? It wasn't in 2014 or 15 when he was stealing bases. There were no tacos given away in 80 or 85.
Well, it could have been.
Well, I mean, maybe they could have. I don't know.
Was
there a
Taco
Bell?
Villa?
Was there a Taco Bell?
Taco Villa, maybe. Bring back Taco
Yes.
Taco Villa.
Okay, very good.
KC staple.
Taco Tico.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
On to leisure with Sterling.
Yeah, let's try your favorites.
Oh, you want favorite instead of Halloween?
What's
Wow,
music?
bold. Okay. This one is a album by Aerosmith. My favorite one, and I can't say one of the song titles because that's the name of the album. Uncle Salty. Did I do this one with you last time?
Nope.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
No.
with me or specifically
no,
Kevin?
No, with Kevin. No, it was a different one last time.
Oh, wow.
Uncle Salty, Adam's Apple, Walk This Way, Big 10-inch record, because everyone loves my big 10-inch record. Sweet Emotion. All on this album.
Oh,
It's my favorite album by them. It's incredible.
not a huge Aerosmith guy.
1975 was this album.
Really, that long ago?
1975.
I was minus 5 years old then.
It was after Get Your Wings. This to me though is
You can get
quintessential.
those at Johnny's Tavern. You can get your Wilson wings. Was that the original?
Yeah,
name
it's
of the
actually
song?
yeah.
Get your Wilson wings.
And the album fun was Rocks, where you can get your bourbon.
See?
You get your bourbon on the rocks. Yeah,
And your Wilson wings.
yeah. But the album in between in 75, Uncle Salty, Walk This Way, Big 10-inch record, Sweet Emotion, Adam's Apple, which is a funny one. And the title song was the first song on this album.
I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. Love in an Elevator.
No, what is it? What's the tallest part of your house?
The
How many
roof.
square feet?
Well, what's underneath the roof?
Really? I mean,
The Office.
The attic.
Okay. That should give this away. If you don't know this one, I can't help you.
Sorry, I'm not a big
You know what?
Aerosmith guy.
Kevin, you're the man. Appreciate you playing, brother. Well done. You got the
Great
Willie
job.
Wilson, man. Thank you, Kevin. 913-381-0810.
It's a great album.
I was with Kevin. That's the tallest part of your house. A roof? Chimney?
Well, underneath it. Like, what's in it?
Underneath the
and
roof?
what's in the attic?
ceiling? The ceiling is the roof. It is.
I
And
love
the sky's
this
the
album.
limit.
Kevin, I'm sorry. It's 75. He said he was an older guy. I thought he was
Well,
going to
that
nail this
question
one.
is that question is out there and available for someone to call in and request. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We will continue rolling, and we'll continue playing some sports or leisure. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. 913-381-0810. More Zone right after this. Sports or Leisure coming your way. Presented by Johnny's Tavern, $25 at Johnny's Tavern. If you get a sports question and a leisure question right, you win. Either of them wrong, you lose. Sterling, you a trick-or-treater guy? Are you a Halloween party guy? Or are you a stay-at-home and hand out the candy guy?
I'm a stay-at-home and hand out candy.
Okay. Dylan? Hand out the candy, Halloween party, go trick-or-treating.
I usually do the party the week before, so I'm hand out candy.
Hand out candy?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
During the week.
Yep.
Party. I'm too old to do that. I want to be in bed.
Yeah. I love the trick-or-treating part of it, dude. My kids are perfect age. You get 5 and 8. Oh, awesome.
You eat all the candy, don't you?
Give the king size to 5 and under. Because if it's higher than that, then word spreads. And that is a
They don't know any better.
Yeah.
They don't know any better.
Nope.
We put the, it's crazy, we put the big old bowl of candy on the front porch. And so we go trick-or-treating. And there are too many honest kids these days. Like, seriously, what is this world coming to? Because we get back home, and there's way too much candy left over. And we're like, what are you kids doing? Now, we don't want you to steal the whole thing, but
you're giving
just
away
coming
bad
by,
candy,
just
probably.
No, it's the good stuff. You know, we have king size. We some of these candy, we hide, $100 bills in there. I'm joking. We did not do that. But, like, we already got enough candy the kids have. We don't need even more left over. So we come home, and it's like, so we'll come home, and our cul-de-sac will have sort of like a gathering after the trick-or-treating is done. And any of the kids that come down the cul-de-sac, we're like, take like 5 or 10 of them. No.
Is it like
take
mixed
more.
cul-de-sac? Or?
It's not that one.
Okay.
Nope. It is completely different. We all go home to our significant others, our own significant others. Not like that. All right, 913-3810810 is the phone number for Sports or Leisure. Let's go to the phone lines. And Charles next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Charles, Sports or Leisure, what side would you like to start with, sir?
Let's do that Toys in the Attic leisure question.
Yeah,
okay,
baby.
very good.
Nailed it.
Toys
Love
in the
that.
attic, is that what it is?
Yeah, toys in the attic, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's an interesting, if you need storage, that works too. On to the sports side, sir, we've got NFL questions, a couple of those. We have Royals World Series questions, plenty of those left. What say you, sir?
Let's do the NFL.
NFL for you, okay. Brock Bowers currently leading the NFL in receptions. Don't know if you knew that, Sterling. Brock Bowers leads the NFL in catches with 52. Can you tell me who the last tight end is to lead the league in receptions? Not you, Sterling. I was just wondering if you knew. If you knew that Brock Bowers was leading the NFL in receptions right now with 52.
The latest tight end to lead the.
Yep. Who is the?
NFL?
Yep. Who is the last tight end to lead the league in receptions? I don't think Brock Bowers will do it because of the quarterback play, maybe an issue, but also maybe the quarterback play, he's just going to get the targets. But then again, I feel like Luke Getsy forgot that Brock Bowers existed in the second half against the Chiefs. Did he not? And that's the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. He's loved in Vegas and in Raider Nation. They really like him a lot. Checking out sad fans on Reddit, they have a lot of nice things to say about the Raiders offensive coordinator. It's weird. You would think that they would hate him, but it's so nice. A lot of it's sarcasm and how venomous it is. But I think they're just joking when they do those things. But anyway, he forgot that Brock Bowers existed in the second half. Nobody around here is going to forget that this guy existed. But who is the last tight end to lead the league in receptions? What do you say, Charles?
So the latest year for a tight end to lead the NFL in a season.
Who's the most recent? Who's the most recent player?
Oh, gosh, I want to say the obvious one, but I don't think that's right. Oh, man.
What do you say?
I'm going to go with Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz is incorrect. Charles, thank you for playing, man. Really appreciate it, brother. 913-381-810. Happy Halloween to you. We go to Shane next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Shane, Sports or Leisure, what side would you like to start with? That question is out there and available. What do you say?
I'm going to start with Leisure, guys.
All right. We have Halloween, and we have Sterling's favorite albums.
Sterling, I got to try that Favorites because I knew the Aerosmith one, but let's try it. Yeah, let's do another one here.
All right. They're all classic rock here, so if you're in that, you'll be golden. This is my favorite album probably my favorite album by Iron Maiden. Love Iron Maiden. One of my favorite bands. Love this album. This one has Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22, Acacia Avenue, Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us.
And I thought you said classic rock, not metal.
Well, it's kind of a combo. It's a little bit in there. The title track of this song I can't say because it gives away. So I named 7 songs. There are 8 on this album. The second side, this kicks off with that specific song. It's their most famous album, probably. I would have to imagine. There's not
Toys in the Basement.
No, if you know close actually. If you know, not really, but if you know Iron Maiden, if you know a album by Iron Maiden, odds are you probably know this one.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just take a guess then. No, I don't know. I'm not. I have no clue. I don't know any Iron Maiden albums.
What?
Don't know. I don't.
Man, it's first one with Bruce Dickinson too.
I'm a progressive rock guy. I love, and not a metal guy.
So Dream Theater's too hard for you then. So you're more of like a Styx guy than progressive rock, right?
I'm Rush.
I love Rush. Yeah. Rush's top 5 favorite band. There we go.
You. Congratulations, Sterling.
Do you want a different? Should I give a different album?
Wow, is it a Rush album? You better hurry, man.
No, give me one.
Okay, what album had Tom Sawyer on it then?
Oh, wow. Moving Pictures?
There you go. Red Barchetta. That was also one on here, so you nailed it.
All right, on to the sports side. We got NFL. We have the Brock Bowers question out there.
Sky?
We blue?
There you go.
Red? Royals World Series questions as well. What do you say?
Let's just go Royals World Series.
All right, very good. Who scored the winning run in Game 1 of the 2015 World Series?
That's
Who scored the winning run?
Be the home run.
That tied it. They won.
Oh, right.
They won in extras. Yep, they won in extras.
X, I know who hit that one, but that's not right. I got to think here.
Do you know who it is, Sterling?
What was the question?
Are you a part of the show, Sterling? Who scored the game-winning run in Game 1 of the 2015 World's Series? Who
I'll just throw a guess.
did the damn thing?
Who scored the first run?
The winning run. The run that was the winner.
Yeah, I know.
It is. I see what you did there. Yeah, I brought a number of these back from the playoffs to the World Series specifically. So I think this might have been one too. Trevon Diggs was a fan of this guy.
Really good.
Thank you.
I'm just going to throw out a guess then. That's going to be Locaine. I don't know. Lorenzo Cain?
It was not Lorenzo Cain. Shane, thank you for playing, man. Happy Halloween to you, brother.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. We go to T-Box next up on Sports Radio 810. T-Box, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Hey, let's go leisure. Sterling, give me a different one other than the Maiden one.
All right, I'll give you a different one. All right, this is pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
All right, which album had Welcome to the Jungle on it? Welcome.
Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, that's such a great album. I mean, there's
There wasn't
just
Spaghetti Incident?
I do like that album though. Spaghetti Incident is all covers, but no.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the greats.
Yes.
All-time great.
All-time great album right there. Nailed it.
All right, on to the sports side. We've got NFL. We have 2 questions out there, one in NFL and one in Royals World Series. We also have fresh ones in both.
So the NFL question, your other caller answered this, and I swore is the answer. I thought Zach Ertz was the one. I thought he led the league in catches in 2018 for a tight end. Maybe it was just he had the most catches ever for a tight end.
I think he broke the record for catches for a tight end that year.
But didn't lead the league.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't want to try and guess that because I thought that was the answer. So give me a different NFL.
Different NFL one for you. Okay, very good. Anthony Richardson had a completion percentage of 31.3% versus the Texans last weekend. Did you know that's the second lowest in the last 10 years for a quarterback with at least 30 attempts? Who has the lowest?
Oh, not even a clue.
By the way, T-Box, the only reason I would ask this is because it happened earlier this year. And it was a big story because this man is viewed as one of the best in the league and had himself just a terrible, no good, awful, bad day.
By the way, it's not Zach Ertz because Michael Thomas led.
So what did Michael Thomas have, like 140 receptions
125.
that year? Like I said, 125 receptions that year?
I'll throw a dart and
it was a big
try Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, not a bad guess, T-Box. Not a bad guess. I appreciate you playing, man. It is not Aaron Rodgers. Happy Halloween, T-Box. All right, very good. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers, but it was, I don't know if you guys remember, like that day and then the next couple of days, it's all people were talking about. It was like, wow, this guy, remember, maybe the skill position players that maybe those matter too. Maybe, Holmes went and won a Super Bowl after getting rid of, Tyreek Hill and this guy, da-da-da. Let's go to Matt next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt, sports or leisure, what side are you thinking?
I will try the tight end question.
All right, Brock Bowers leading the NFL in receptions this year with 52. Who's the last tight end to lead the league in receptions?
I think it was Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez in 2004 with 102 receptions. He was the only player in the league to have 100 receptions that year.
Wow.
Had 102 receptions, led the league in receptions. I will tell you, I think Brock Bowers will need more than 102 to lead the league in receptions. But nice job, Tony Gonzalez, correct. And on to leisure with Sterling.
We have Halloween, and we have Sterling's favorite albums.
Don't love either. I'll try Halloween.
All right, we'll go to Halloween, and we'll rock with who's the main villain in the horror franchise named after Halloween?
Michael Myers?
It is Michael Myers.
He played himself in the movie, right?
Yeah, he played himself because he was also in Wayne's World.
That's right.
So
yes, with you as always is Garth Myers.
He's got range.
Yeah,
he's got range.
Matt, thank you for playing, man. We'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, guys.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling more zone next. Sports Bar, 10 locations in Lawrence and Topeka as well. All right, questions we did not get answers to. I had 2 questions out there that I did not get an answer to. Anthony Richardson, a completion percentage of 31.3% versus the Texans last week, and that's the second lowest in the last 10 years for a quarterback with at least 30 attempts. Who has the lowest? It happened earlier this year. It was Josh Allen.
Oh.
Remember Josh Allen had that terrible game and completed 30% of his passes, by the way, against the Texans earlier this year.
Was he like Bryce Young?
No, it was Josh Allen. It was a big, like, wow, Josh Allen had the terrible, and it's like, well, maybe the skill position matters. And also game 1 of the 2015 World Series, who scored the winning run? That would be
Alcides Escobar.
Yes, and the reason Trevon Diggs is a fan of his is because of Alcides' nuts.
Well, and you said the final run ago.
In the first run?
Try to give a hint.
Also, the first run of the World Series in Game 1, he scored on the Hosmer sacrifice fly, reaching on an error, leading off the inning with an error, and coming around to score the winning run. Any questions you did not get answers to, Sterling?
1, the Number of the Beast album by Iron Maiden. That was the one that, Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name, 22 Acacia Avenue, Children of the Damned.
Daily Bread. All right, so that's the answer there for
Great album.
you. Don't forget, coming up tonight, we've got Arrowhead Pride Radio, Pete Sweeney and Jack Johnson, and Texans and Jets. Whoo-wee, barn burner tonight. I'll take the Texans. I mean, I'll rather the Jets win for the Chiefs, but come on, Jets ain't winning.